Let's see how this one will come together. We are in the draft of game one of this lower bracket match between Team Liquid and Team Spirit. And for the first game, we've got Team Liquid on the Radiant side and Team Spirit on the Dire side. And the Bounty Hunter that we saw so many times over the last 2 days has made it to an overall first ban coming out from Team Spirit. Team Spirit is the team that has got first pick, so they also up to ban it. Even though they would have had the chance to pick it, they do not want to see that in their game. Also means that Team Liquid has overall last pick, and they'll try to get some strategic advantage out of that one. Earth Spirit and Lina removed from the pool as well, and I would not be surprised to see a couple of those comfort heroes for Nisha being removed, especially after he highlighted that that's the reason why the series against Falcons went their way. There's another one of his comforts already out, is the Ember Spirit. Other than those heroes, what do we want to see out of this one, Winter?
I mean, outside of heroes, I think the contrast between these two teams are going to be like the way they're going to be approaching the game. I think Liquid against Spirit, you do not want to go late against Spirit. Spirit is really good mid-late game. So you kind of want to try to step on the gas and accelerate the game. I think that should be their primary plan, and heroes like Nature's Prophet will be like on top of my head. Like you want to be able to get towers, get map control, and you want to be able to do more attacking. I think Team Spirit, they are very good at defending, but if you're Liquid, I don't think you want to be on the defending side.
But you can see from the bans, right, of Liquid, they've kind of taken 4 heroes that are very good at kind of counter-engaging to stop you from making these aggressive moves, right? Bane, Earthstripped Tree, just exceptional heroes at just punishing bad positioning. Slardar as well to the same level. He picks up a Blink, has Shard. You're going to disappear if you're overstepping. So I think Liquid is ready to try and be aggressive with their bans already.
And that also means that with the Slardar ban, they are maybe thinking about like Invoker right away. And okay, so Spirit is just going to pick Wyvern, which is, I think, other than Bounty Hunter, this is like a very, very strong support, an upcoming support that kind of got a lot more popularity during the playoffs.
Can they puck on 9 here? Or is that a bit too greedy?
Do you like puck?
I mean, I'm just thinking of like the classics, Liquid, Nisha, but again, it's more of an
nice.
18. Sorry, on second pick puck and
Good.
second phase close. Sorry, I forgot the the numbers.
Yeah.
I love numbers. Anyway, Shadow Fiend, sure, that's more of a staple pick.
Yeah, this hero's felt, I don't know, unbeatable. Whenever I watch it, the amount of farm it gets is just unreal, and the amount of damage it does also unreal. I've seen like the Nature's Prophet versus Shadow Fiend match up enough times now where I feel like Spirit could pick that one.
I mean, I don't know about like everyone, but when I play the Wyvern, I kind of always like being on the side against the SF, because Wyvern, the one thing you have, or a couple of things you have against SF is you're very good at gate ganking. You go across the map and ganking, because SF is the most vulnerable, one of the most vulnerable heroes in the early game. You want to be able to shut him down, and later in the game, the Cold Embrace is great against SF. And SF is very dependent on BKB, and Wyvern has a BKB piercing spell. So I always felt like this matchup is kind of okay, you know, like I like being on the Wyvern side against SF, but as we have seen yesterday and the day before, SF is a very, very strong hero. And back to the pacing part where I said that Liquid, they have to play fast, and this is one of the fastest carry you can play in the current meta.
Yeah, I mean, the counterpoint to all of that is if SF is winning its lane, then the Win to Wyvern Twin Gate rotation won't do as much, because the SF's winning lane will already be taking the fight, already getting the kills, and then he's going to have immense farm, so...
So the secondary part of this strategy when you have Wyvern is you want to use your second phase bans to remove the bodyguards. And after you remove the bodyguards, you want to try to create a lane, a duo, a very strong duo that gives you kill opportunities against the SF. Like something like, I don't think we'll be able to see the Dawn. I think the Dawn will be banned, because Dawn is one of the... actually, no, it's Spirit, so never mind. But I'm just trying to illustrate an example where against SF, you want like a Dawn, you want a hero that can just go on him and kill him in the laning phase.
Maybe could you supplement that with something like Nature's Prophet carry matchup where you can then TP in and...
You can definitely do that. Nature's Prophet is really, really good at that. You TP in, you drop the treants in front of him, you kill him, you take the tower. I think taking the tower is also the second part of the plan. You kill him, but you also must ensure that you have a way to take the tower either with creeps, heroes with summons, or you have heroes with helm. So you can take the tower and remove the jungle, because the camps are the important part. You need to seize control of the camps behind the safe lane tower and in front of the tower, the 4 camps. If you can remove the tower, the SF doesn't get to farm them, then it's good for you.
But you're also describing a whole scenario where it's like you need your mid lane matchup to go well on your side, because if you have to take the tower from the Shadow King, you need to stop him doing his natural satanic Yatoro level of farm. Of course, Mickey can do it as well. Then you need your mid lane matchup to go well, because they'll TP in, they'll counter gank, they'll stop all this aggression. So again, it's the joy of the setup. Again, they're taking their time actually quite heavily with the ban from Liquid, and then Spirit, they just take away Clock and Tusk, the map moving roaming supports, which I mean they're the most kind of obvious ones for SF, but you have to
There's
kind of
so
ban them
many
out.
heroes. I think that's what I feel when I look at these bans, because they remove Clock Tusk, and I think those give the most amount of kill potential in lane with SF. But then you still have bodyguards, you still have Undying in the pool. There's also people were using Jakiro as a substitute for a while, which also gives you kill threat in the lane. But there's also still more saves if you want to play more like that. Ringmaster still does a lot of damage in the lane, but can also protect the SF in lane. I think they have so many options.
Yeah.
And there's the Invoker you mentioned earlier with the Slardar ban.
Yeah, and Park
And
ban.
the Puck ban, yeah.
Those two heroes have very, very good matchup against the Invoker. There's still some more, like Void Spirit. Void Spirit is also another hero, which I don't know if you're gonna see it, but it's also another hero that has a very, very good. Like if you look at the stats, it's one of those mid heroes that has a very good win rate against the Invoker, because Invoker spells can, I don't want to say never, but usually it never lands on the Void Spirit because you can just dodge them.
It's also cool because like Liquid's not allowing, like Spirit's quite a creative team, we already mentioned that. They have wide hero pools, and it's like, you know, we're just gonna lock in our core straight away. We don't care about like your playbook. It's like, look at our heroes, try and counter us. And Spirit, they do go for the
I mean,
centaur.
it's not just really about that, you know, because when you talk about the pick sequence, we don't really generally get a chance to discuss a lot about that. But I believe during the second phase team, when you open your draft and then you go into the ban phase, you get to ban a hero in the second phase, and then you exit the ban phase into a pick.
Protecting it, yeah.
And I think those two sections during the draft, they are very valuable for you. So I always feel like if I can ever use that for picking a core, I would try to do it.
Yeah, there's not many heroes that can actually have one ban into getting the pick, but of course, because of the previous setup, it can work. So I think it's like Liquid and I think LGD, they're the ones that do this more often than other teams if they are able to do it. And in Spirit, they, again, like we already mentioned, they have the Centaur with the Helmet Dominator. That's going to be your progression. Having Stampede and any displacement to kite away from Invoker spell combo is very important. We saw that yesterday with Yandex when Malady was using Wind Wakers and Four Staffs and whatever. And they go for their Pangolier. So they're not trying to flex anything, of course, because they see the Invoker, so they're happy to just
They see both lanes,
matchup.
so they
Exactly.
just pick. Yeah, they just pick both the cores here right away, just to make sure that they get the cores that they want to. And I really like the Pangolier here against like the Invoker matchup as well, because you get to kill off the Forge Spirits. Every time when you see Invoker mid, you're always thinking about whether you can have heroes that can kill off that pesky summon. You know, he's gonna send it to deny the rune, but for Pangolier, he doesn't really care about it that much.
I like roll up as well on the shard to just kind of help disengage the combos. I do think when you pick this SF and Invoker, it does mean that you're not able to support them as strongly. Like I think when we see SF, the drafting that follows feels quite simple. Usually we do see a lot of Centaurs because their teams are aiming to be able to buy the Ags and keep him protected, but by picking Invoker, you give that Centaur away to Spirit instead. So this hero, whilst it can be good for them, it also acts as a deny pick.
Yeah, right now Liquid, they're gonna have to look for their stuns and bodyguards for the cause. They have one stun here, but they need a setup still. They go Willow plus Rihanna. I guess the other top tier setup heroes are all mostly banned, and Willow is always a great support against all those spirit mid heroes. And Pangolier, I would say, he's kind of like a spirit-esque mid hero where you can run around and roam, and you're kind of vulnerable before you get the shot, like you mentioned the shot. Before you get the shot, you're always very vulnerable to getting killed by the Dark Wheeler.
They're going to have just nice map play with Liquid supports, because every time there's going to be an active rune, they're going to press Moonlight Shadow, they're going to go for it. Pango's going to want to go there. You're going to have Willow, you're going to get the kill potentially. If he's dead, then you can break back into the map. So I think Spirit just has to respect the importance of runes against Mirana. It's always something to be mindful. And interesting, they went for the Willow to try and counterplay the Centaur, the kind of the Stampede aspect of the fights, rather than trying to find a support to stop Pangolier during his role. And there is the Nature's Prophet from Spirit. And Liquid, they have no real body to protect still. It's kind of like...
Yeah, it's very, very dangerous here for Liquid. They have a Mirana. I guess most of the top bodies that you pick in the lane are kind of banned. And you mentioned the Undying, maybe they feel like they just didn't really want to go that route, because that would have actually been like a kind of like a decent body.
Ini upper
I
bracket
like
atau lower bracket?
Mirana Willow though, because they both just give so much damage and kill
Liquid
threat to
Yeah, but the lane, like the focus here, is the lane. Because the
Yeah.
Nature's Prophet is going to be tipping in, and you do not have the best bodyguard in the lane to protect the SF. You know, Mirana, if you're standing next to the SF, you see a Nature's Prophet tipping in when the Centaur starts the SF. What can you actually do to protect the SF?
And what if not me plays like techies or something, and then you have like techies jumping in, Prophet coming in, like there's so much like
Okay,
spook.
but then potentially they can pick a
How are
offlaner
you,
that's a
bro?
little bit more
Sudah lama tidak
self-sustaining, and then they can use the
silaturahmi.
gate and rotate the
Yeah.
supports
I
more
am
to help give
doing
SF that
good.
like
Thank you
advantage
for
early where they
asking.
don't then
He needs
feel a
people.
threat.
He needs people
How
beside him
are you?
a lot of the early game. I think if
How
Liquid can
about
actually
you?
do that, that would be great. But Team Spirit, right now, they definitely have the advantage in terms of being the aggressor. They have the advantage of being the white pieces here. They are going to attack the SF, and SF is a very vulnerable target. And Invoker is also not the best hero to protect the SF because you need a lot of farm on Invoker. You want to hit creeps, you're just waiting. Oh, I have a Sunstrike kill. Sure, you know, I'm going to drop a Sunstrike, but outside of that, he's not really going to be moving too much.
So we need 2 more heroes here. One for the side of Team Spirit in the hands of Not Me. So the position 4. We already have 1 banned out, waiting for Liquid to ban the other. And we need a hero for Ace on the side of Team Spirit, the offlane. As Hoodwink is the one that gets removed. One of his classics is still in Rubik, but I don't know if
Rubik,
you want to play that
SD,
here.
both are very good here. The SD with the Centaur, very good in the lane, and the SD is very good at saving against the Dark Willow and the Mirana combo. So those are really, really good options. SD is also very nice against SF because you make illusions of him and you get his aura and you kill him.
If they do want more save, there's also Ringmaster, but I think I prefer Rubik.
I think everybody prefers.
Everyone wants to
him
see
on
Rubik.
yeah. I will be the
Shadow
shadow.
doing
Demon.
boring.
Yeah,
Alright.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's also good.
I'm just so worried about this mid game. If your Shadow Fiend survives and life is good, playing into Moonlight Shadow and the Ghost Walk on Invoker for Nature's Prophet is like so terrifying because he just always wants to play away from his team and teleport in. So you are so vulnerable. And the amount of like sentries, gem investment that Spirit's gonna have to make is gonna really cause a lot of stress right now.
They're gonna be hunted.
Yeah, that's why Liquid needs a bodyguard, like something like a Mars. I know this hero is not great, but they need something to actually protect. I don't think they can go any more greedier on the offlane hero.
I'm scared, right? Like, if
Yeah.
they go Dawnbreaker, then it's like a hero that's always
they have
waiting.
they have 3 carries.
Exactly, like you're
And
waiting for someone to start.
You need like the Mars because you can
Yeah.
set up for the arrow, and it's really good with the Terrorize. It's good with the Sunstrikes. It's good with the SF Requiem, and it's good against the Centaur Stampede. You know, so I think that could be a pick to solve the problems here.
Ooh, does Timbersaw fit the bill?
It's a very different route, very similar to the Dawn. The idea with the Timber here is he wants to draw the attention away from the SF, and if you leave and gank the SF, guess what? The Timber is another carry farming away.
Yeah, and also it's like you can play the lane into the Nature's Prophet, and you don't really care about anything. Sure, there's a bit of Shadow Demon interaction into your Ags, like how annoying, but you don't need to buy it. You can just go other routes. That aside, like Winter already mentioned, Ace is pretty much just going to put a massive target on his back, and after the laning phase aggression towards Mickey, he is going to try and do as much as possible to then activate the rest of the team. But Liquid, when you look about the team fight, the stuns, how do they actually make these epic late game scenarios? They've got an arrow, a bramble, a terrorize, and whatever Nisha can muster with his cocktail spells, right? So there is not a lot for Liquid to lean on compared to Spirit, where they have curse and stomps and rolls and whatnot.
I don't think Liquid can survive in the early game. I actually feel this is over their budget. This is too much.
You said laning phase is not that important, Winter.
I mean, it's mostly for the lane. I think it's
What a
mostly
quirk.
the Timber is mostly for the laning phase, and right now they have a tri-core setup which is very, very greedy. They want to get to the late game, but I don't think they're going to be able to get to the late game.
Oh, spooky.
I actually feel differently. I think Liquid, especially if they can play the first like minute, maybe bring like the 2 supports to the lane and like get some early kills and inject that bit of net worth so you get like your first starting stat item. I think their lanes could be more robust than we think. And then in the mid game, I don't know, they have so much more damage. Their ability to rotate on mid is so much stronger. I think they're going to fight for runes in a really nice way. I really like Liquid's lineup.
It's a lot of focus, I feel like, than on the 2 supports on the side of Liquid.
100%. Like so far, I think this TI is about what supports have got Wind Wakers, how have they used their 4 stuff, how many times have we spoken about this so far? And in this game with Tofu and Boxy, if your team fight isn't that strong, it's about positioning. And I think the support's positioning will be important. Are they there for the runes? Do they have the right items to keep the SF alive, to help Nietzsche clutch up, to give Ace the tempo he needs? So I think Liquid, they have the tools, but it's a very hard game because of the lack of stuns and kind of team fight. But they can do it if they're ready to win TI.
They have to just make sure they don't bleed too much. in the early stages of the game. And if we learn anything from Team Spirit, they seem to be wanting to focus on a maybe more Team Vision-esque style where they focus on gaining a lot of net worth. I know it sounds very exciting, which might actually allow Team Spirit to have that space that they really want in the early stages of the game. Of course, it is in the lower bracket. We're going to have to find out how much pressure we are going to feel when the players are on that stage and playing, because yesterday we definitely had a couple of moments, I'm looking at you, Falcons and Liquid, where not all spells were pressed correctly, but of course that is all part of the competition. Let's head into game number 1, but first some words from Coach Maposhka.
Thank you so much. Yes, we are here with Maposhka from Team Spirit. So good to see you again. You have been in this position many times. You have seen the TI meta develop, not your first rodeo. What's it like to be playing so late in TI where all the heroes that are good are kind of known? Do you stick to what you know or do you stick to the meta?
That, I would say nothing special, actually. As you say it, I did it many times in the lower bracket, but previously it was when I was a player, so it's of course a bit different. But no, if you ask about like meta heroes, yes, like do we play meta or no? I mean, of course, we're trying to find like best heroes for every position. Trying to adapt always. And during this tournament, we also adapt. Like we play with some heroes which we are not not used to play previously. So we always trying to find a good solution for us.
Tahu caranya masuk Steam tapi lupa
Well, the game is
password
already underway, so
dan
let's get
nomor
into it. Thank you so
iklan.
much for your time, and we'll throw it to our casters.
Thank you. Just in
That
time
shit
for the
is-
first blood for
that shit
Mickey.
is gone already.
SF could not ask for a better
Give
start, a
it
better
up.
first blood target for Liquid specifically.
I don't think it's
As we
possible.
get into this lower bracket match between Liquid and Spirit, this is going to be a hype best of 3. Cinderin, how are you?
I am so ready to see this game because I feel like there's a lot of questions I have about this. Okay, hang on. Mickey immediately on the receiving end. This is a ton of damage.
Yeah, trying to get under that tier 1 tower. Will survive just barely. Only has a fairy fire right now, but something being delivered. So some nice tangos. All right.
So something that stood out to me in the draft, you saw the win rate pop up on the screen, is that Liquid have picked Mirana twice this tournament. They've lost both games. Hoodwink was right there. And both Boxy and Tofu have shown exceptional play on that hero. So I wonder what gives. Like, what are they seeing in this particular hero for this game? Is it specifically because they wanted Moonlight Shadow? Because as far as I'm concerned, with the games you and I have cast, I've just been super impressed with the level of Hoodwink play and the impact that hero has in seemingly every single game. Whereas Mirana's a little bit more hit or miss.
The last series we cast was Liquid, and I said Tofu was the MVP in my book.
It was 8-0 and 22 then.
Exactly. It was just an absurd performance. And it's going against the Nature's Prophet, too, so you have extra trees to work with. His root, gonna get gone on now. Shadow round will... Actually,
nice.
Juke there on the trees. Creates one just for himself. Yeah, it's an interesting question. Maybe there's a matchup against, I don't know, a Wyvern or something to that effect, or the Shadow Demon. We don't get to see Shadow Demon all too often.
Yeah, it's a really good pick here, though. I think that's one of my favorite picks of the draft. Spirit, I mean, it's not a surprising pick, so to speak. They've run it before. It's just, there's a lot of upsides to that hero in this game. The panel covered, it's good to disrupt the Shadow Demon. It's Shadow Fiend, excuse me. Good with the Centaur. I think there's some... Actually, this is a really good game for Demonic Cleanse. We don't get to say that all that often, but I think maybe you buy the shard this game.
Yeah.
Invoker, Willow both hate dispels, and you have a constant dispel you can put on an ally. Would be really good this game. And in addition to what I talked about with the Hoodwink, I also wonder what they're seeing in the Timbersaw here. I understand the laning matchup between Prophet and Wyvern might be quite good, but I kind of share Winter's sentiment that this might be a little bit too greedy. You're effectively leaving the entirety of the play
Prophet.
Willow and an Invoker who you know is going to go Meteor Hammer and jungle for a bit because that's what they do literally every single game. If there were a game where you would play Kloss Wex, this would be the one. He's still not doing it. So that build is just dead. Like,
Apparently.
I can't think of a better game to do it.
Would you say it's harder execution then for Liquid? Because they don't have that, I mean, you kind of alluded to it, but they don't have the traditional initiator, right? It's just,
Right.
you have this Timbersaw who's frontlining, but nobody's really starting the fight necessarily.
That's my biggest issue, is doing that. So yeah, I agree. I think in terms of execution, it's at least it's less straightforward. As it is with Dota, though, you can kind of cover almost any weakness of any lineup through items. So as long as you get through the lanes and have a decent mid game, you can, generally speaking, cover for your issues. You can compensate with items, but yeah, that's where Nature's Prophet for me is going to be the big test for Liquid here. Is
Just make a new one.
If you're not behind at minute 20 or 25, I think this game could be quite stable and really good for you. And obviously, not going to question Nisha's ability to win any game on Invoker. But yeah, you need to be careful you don't get rolled.
Literally, as Laurel is playing the Pangolier with Rolling Thunder, level 5 right now.
Nisha
a bit, 25 and 7
Invoker.
for Laurel, or Nisha at 18 and 3. I mean, I'm used to watching Invoker just lose lanes.
Yeah.
Is there any hero he wins against?
TikTok live.
Again,
Just
Laurel, very aggressive.
Boxing him in here.
don't really use any TikTok, but I have
Comes
to
out,
if I
let's get
wanna
some last hits for Nisha. TP
make
coming,
something
Swashbuckle's there,
like
that's
this.
just a kill for Laurel. Foxy a little bit too late, he's gonna get some solo XP, but my goodness. Laurel now level 6 as well, so if there's a rotation coming through, it looks like the Shadow Demon's on the way. If they can kill the Invoker
this one.
again, that would be just crippling for Liquid in this mid lane.
Yeah, Laurel is going to need some resources, though. He sent out a second Clarity. The reason Nisha cold snapped him was that he had Bottle and Clarity running, and he just wanted to stop him getting more resources, but he still got enough for a last Swashbuckle, and yeah, that's the thing. Invoker, pretty vulnerable in this lane, and if you need to start pulling over support to mid, that means you are not making a single move, and as a result, I think that Spirit's side lane cores will both be very happy. And of course, keep an eye on Nature's Prophet. Always the wild card in these mid moves.
Yeah.
Yatoro at any point could just show up behind Nisha. No point in Wex yet.
Good arrow. Don't think there's going to be any follow-up here, though. I mean, at the same time, Ace is also going to be happy on the Timbersaw. I mean, I feel like in terms of melee heroes, the hero that loves solo experience the most is Laurel, taking a little bit of damage from Tofu. Get back under that tier 1, though.
That's true.
First illusion is the or first rune rather is the illusion.
Timber is definitely going to be completely A-okay up here alone. Even if he gets to play 1v2 against Wyvern Prophet, once he hits level 5, should be just able to farm quite stably. Courtesy of reactive armor.
We've talked a bit about how Liquid are lacking the initiation, but can Spirit deal with the Timbersaw? He's going to hold that thought as Mickey. You can see Yatoro TPing in. And this is the downside of Shadow being very, very susceptible to ganks, especially when the Nature's Prophet's in the game.
This was always going to happen. And this is going to be Liquid's big challenge in the next 10 to 15 minutes is how do you put out the fires? Because I have a hard time seeing them getting ahead. So it's so incredibly crucial that the supports have good map reads and are in the right place at the right time. Because technically speaking, Spirit, if one support is missing on the map, any of the 3 lanes could be under attack. Prophet can always join. Both of their supports have decent, damage and utility. So, and at the same time, even if Liquid are there, what's the protection, right? Like, are you going to save the Shadow Fiend there if Mirana's there? I don't think so. Are you going to save her with Willow? I mean, maybe Willow with some good brambles can create some spacing for Mickey, but I still think either support being there would have still been a kill. And that's why if Quaswex were a thing, that would have been nice.
Indeed, Laurel taking quite a bit of damage.
So is Nisha
For the Rolling Thunder, going back right on top of Nisha as the supports have come through. The Shadow Demon disruption is very awkward. Does get the connection and the kill in the end. A little bit sloppy from Spirit. And Laurel might pay the price as the Starstorm finishes the job for Tofu, looking for a double kill. Will get it. Okay, actually, Boxy.
Yeah, that disruption might have actually cost them 2 heroes. Because I think they were getting the kill regardless, but it took longer, and it gave Liquid the time to rotate in, so... I want to say a rare mistake here for Not Me, who has had, I would argue, an incredibly impressive rookie year at TI so far. It's been a very welcome addition to Spirit.
First game of the day, Cinderin.
Most people didn't even know who he was when he joined the team. Like, that's pretty rare to see somebody join a tier 1 team with... I mean, generally speaking, when you do get scouted, you have some tier 2 and tier 3 experience, but he did have, but...
I mean, I think
probably in the lower...
that's a sign of a good scene, if that is going to continue to happen. We want the new blood to come in, Cinderin. We don't want people like you to stick around a little bit too long.
My Iki is broken again. Oh my
Game that
god.
comes to mind is the Toro. Sorry, it's a little too early for the banter.
My brain doesn't work before noon.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Be careful.
Apologies to the viewers in advance for you. Brambles right on top of the Toro. Ace
key
is level
puller.
7. Not me though. As they can try to turn this around. Rue makes his way over in addition. And Ace slowed up big time. Getting to take the swashbuckle.
Absen Bang Du.
From Laurel. So 4 members of
Sekarang
Spirit
absensi
come over
udah nyala lagi,
to
udah
destroy Ace
aku benerin.
in turn.
Twitch, YouTube,
So we're
sekarang
not getting any of
absensi
the last
bisa
kills. It's going to mean that he is currently tied with
diakses.
AK for net worth. Of course, the grand prize here is not the timber saw, it is the tower that will be going down
Absensi is back.
courtesy of the trance. This is something that Winter was talking about on the panel as well. You're playing into that shadow thing, you want to take the tower, and there's multiple ways of doing it. You can have something like summons or a Dawn Creep. Well, how about both? They've got Treants and the Hellbear Smasher currently working for them. I think it's just a matter of time before Yatoro's next move will be in that bot lane, and if that's successful, you're losing a second side lane tower for sure. No shot Liquid defend that if the move is successful prior.
Yep, and Collapse going for, I want to say, the EWC standard build, which is helmed directly in the heart. So he's going to be very, very farmed this game if he can get that at a good time. I mean, I would expect him to go for that later.
Yeah.
I mean, these games, we've seen games go very long at this tournament. That's why I'm questioning why people are not just going hard second if you know it's going to go late. As long as the game's not out of control, which right now is very even.
Yeah.
I don't see the downside, really.
This ward could pay dividends later. Once again, when you do have that
Fix
profit,
my
even
keyboard.
ganking a little bit out of the way places becomes a lot easier.
Tofu, okay. Gonna be just fine. Nisha comes over, gets the tornado. Starstorm from Tofu as well. Not Me is definitely dead. Laurel does have to be a bit careful. Is shadowed by Collapse on the Centaur, who does not want to fight. He's just posing a big, fat presence.
Yep,
Try to
that's the
scare
bottom
people.
tower with his Dom Creep. He's happy. I think so far, 11 minutes in, probably rather happy if you're Liquid with the fact that this hasn't been worse than this. Only the 4 kills. Sure, you've lost your 2 side lane towers. That was probably going to happen, but all 3 of your cores are at a very competitive net worth. Nisha being the bottom of them is maybe not the best sign, but it's Invoker. He's about to take Meteor Hammer. And, oh, I was about to say they have some stacks, but haha, there's another guy who wants a piece of that.
I mean, I think the panel also mentioned, but one issue with the Invoker this game is there's no real good Sunstrike setup, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you get the arrow, which they don't have really a great setup for that, it's like Bramble, I guess. But
That's not the easiest.
that would have been one way to get Invoker a little bit more farm in the early stages of the game.
I'm surprised they gave the stacks to Timber, actually. I don't know if that's the right choice in this game. I think he was
Bisa apa lagi
slated
itu
to
buat
just have a free farm
masih
time on
limited
top for quite
sih.
a while regardless.
But it's
Baru
It is.
masih di
He loves
config.
creeps.
who is Ace if
Belum
he
banyak.
does not take all the farm in the jungle as
Yeah.
the offlaner?
Terutama yang YouTube.
Always
Fungsinya
playing
masih
thick
limited,
boys,
kebanyakan di
saw no
Twitch.
exception for that. Laurel, posing a presence to this tier 1 mid. Nisha spotted. Rue looking for the opening. Get the slow to start, but not going to commit to anything. Tango's pretty low, actually. Might have to use the rolling thunder here pretty soon. They're going to try to get the Sunstrike. The Destruction is going to dodge basically everything.
International
Laurel doesn't have mana right
Popoga.
now to use the rolling thunder, but Nisha extremely low. Shadow Realm available.
That was
For
a
some damage
really
onto
good
Laurel.
tornado timing. If he hits that swashbuckle, Nisha is dead. Caught him mid-swash.
Not fully committing his spirit, kind of just
Don't get the tower, though.
playing the tower, and yet they will clean it up eventually. Mickey, though, makes his rotation over. Gets the raise,
Yeah.
arrow coming, not going to hit. Sunstrike going to be dodged. Laurel Just fine. Has the diffusal blade now, going to go for the shard into Blink Axe.
I was gonna say surely Rue is gonna heal him. He's just holding on to Cold Embrace the entire time and he heals himself. Look out for your boy, man. Lara was low.
Maybe he took that extra piece of toast at breakfast.
Yeah, personal vendetta. I'm sure they ran out.
That would be something.
You ever been
there
to a
was
breakfast where they ran out of toast? I don't think I've ever experienced that.
Yeah, but remember they were at a hotel where they ran out of toilet paper, right?
Oh.
That was Spirit, and that was the year they won TI.
Yeah,
They need a little adversity to be able to get over the hump.
that must be the secret.
Absolutely.
Yeah, come to think of it, I don't think I ever ran out of toilet paper at my TI appearances, so you must be right. The stats don't lie.
100% win rate. What we can figure out. Or same time here, Cinder. Nice segue onto Tofu playing the Marana.
Yeah. Speaking of toilet paper, Tofu is 0
Testes babi bu bebo.
I was just thinking of the food tofu. It's just,
Oh,
goodness.
all right, smoke
Alright,
from Spirit.
Odisha.
Yeah, nice
Nice
connection,
one.
and he is
Played.
already dead.
Absolutely. Very quick kill. TP is not even remotely close. So another great pickoff for Spirit. Getting a little bit of separation now in terms of net worth. You can see Yatoro leading the way as you're used to seeing on the Nature's Prophet. But in terms of pacing, you still think that Liquid are happy with the way things are going? Obviously, the Invoker's a bit of a anomaly.
He is having a rough one on Nisha. I mean, it's definitely significantly worse than it was a few minutes ago. This time they lost the mid tower plus Nisha as well again, now up to 3 deaths. It's just like looking at the big picture of how bad I was envisioning this could go. This is in like the better half at least of potential outcomes. I think there's almost, if these two teams play this draft 10 times, I feel like Spirit win the early game 9 out of 10, and in maybe 3 or 4 of them, they're up 5k now. So, you know, it could be way worse for Liquid because of how little they've bled, relatively speaking, but it's not going to get immediately easier now. Now you've lost your front row of defense on the towers. You can see Spirit are placing really good offensive wards. They have one around the enemy secret shop. They have one around the waterways down bottom, and actually one around the double coverage there with the river. So they are going to see Liquid movements. They are going to want to pounce on them between Stampede, Prophet Teleportation, and obviously Pango being a complete beast right now. Yeah, the worst is yet to come. If Liquid can keep this at a 1k for 10 minutes, that's when the items are going to change everything, but they need to still weather the storm.
Oxy. Single swashbuckler brings him to half health.
Yep. Always a fun hero to play support against Pango. Half your spells don't work.
Unless you're Bane.
And yeah, well, there's a few supports that do like it.
I think they're going to go through the gate.
Yeah, Mickey
SF is the target.
They might have seen him go right before their ward expired. I think they definitely did.
Okay, he is running in the correct direction. They don't scan it out. They miss on the scan at least, but they continue on.
Good thing this hero farms camps really fast so you can get out in time.
They're going to see that these creeps recently perished. Mickey to the north now. So close, and now he's within safety of the tier 2 tower. Not me, his smoke breaks, so now the Tofu in the tree lines could be spotted here. For the Rolling Thunder from Laurel, not able to find the connection, has to self-disrupt, and that's going to be a dead Shadow Demon. So Liquid, very fortunate.
That is just such
like a half-second difference between finding the SF and not.
It's such a good read from Mickey to not go to the Mud Golems on the left as part of his farming rotation, but realizing, okay, they've been missing for just long enough that this is a real, there's a very high probability that I am getting ganked, so he goes north to the other camps in protection of his team and avoids a very nasty situation.
Laurel has the damage. Nisha can obviously take that off with the tornado.
Into babi bu bebo.
Vision. Bramble's right on top. He has his shard apparently. It's off the shield crash as well, but he still blows up
Text to
regardless.
speech
Very nicely
feature
done from Liquid, obviously knowing that the Rolling Thunder was down
di
just
Twitch.
to roll up.
Lagi ngetes.
It's gonna give some more space to Nisha, who desperately needs it. Finding some recovery. Now Blink Dagger picked up from Rue.
Pretty fast.
Decent timing. Sitting at 19 minutes. This is a rather difficult Wyvern game, I would say. You have one hero you want to curse next to, which is Shadow Fiend. He's the only one who's really going to kill anyone. The enemy hero's nature of...
A bit of trouble. Bedlam doing a good amount of damage. Disruption into the Sunstrike as Ace comes in to finish the job. Those are actually getting the last hit there as Ace now taking the brunt of the damage from Spirit. Drained of his mana. Killed off. A great turn of events for Spirit, losing a support for the offlane carry. And yeah, Tofu looks to be next on the list. Yatoro with a double kill on the Nature's Prophet.
You'll eat Tofu all day.
Oh yeah, that's good protein.
That's going to be the BKB. So what was I saying? Yeah, for Wyvern, the challenge in this game is that Cold Embrace is just really bad, right? Timbersaw is one of the nightmare matchups for that. All of his damage is pure. Invoker is a nightmare matchup. All of his damage is magic. Willow, Norana. Shadow Fiend as a carry is even mixed because he can go for the raises. So Cold Embrace is
Panas bet dah.
hard
Karena tadi
because
mendung dari pagi.
Liquid's lineup inherently doesn't really stack on top of each other. It's
Give
four
me
ranges
the
plus a
rain.
Timber jump
Where is
around.
the rain?
Rue, I think this could have potentially been a game where Blink is not the choice, but rather something like Glimmer Force. I find myself almost always loving the dagger, but this is one of those games that it'll be very impressive if he finds high impact plays with anything except maybe one good curse this game. So keep your eyes on that. Tormentor will go to Spirit. Rue will get the Cold Embrace upgrade, ironically, after that monologue.
Right? I mean, do you think the damage aspect of this, is it just icing?
Yeah.
How often is it useful, would you say? Because you have to, it feels like it's, usually you're not going to get anything out of it when you're using Cold Embrace as a save, it feels like. Especially with this much magic and pure damage on Liquid's side.
Yeah, a lot of the time when you get Cold Embrace, you reset after, right? It's to buy time in order to get out and then maybe go back in again, but then the buff is gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's situationally good.
Because you're not going to be using it initial. Okay, we're going to hold that spot. Ace in a bit of trouble. Moonlight Shadow on him, but they have the vision and they have the kill. With Toro there in numbers. Plus his 3 teammates.
Okay. So Spirit.
Yes.
Yep, got it. Okay.
I mean, Yatoro is such a huge personality.
Thank you for the membership.
It's a split personality. We've got good and bad Yatoro showing up to this game.
Alertnya error barusan kenapa ya?
Toro. That's his personality. He's all natural now. And we have Roach being attempted by Spirit.
Oh, collapse. Big damage.
Spotted. Right click from
dead.
Nikke. My goodness, the alacrity just going ham. And just like that, Spirit have to abandon the Roche attempt.
Ooh, this is really awkward. 40 seconds on Centaur.
Mr.
If they knew that
RGT.
Roche was being started, they could actually go for it themselves. Instead, though, on the prowl for Laurel. Nice sidestep. Not going to get clipped by that tornado.
So Collapse gets a Soul Ring. Is that literally just for EMP?
I think that's a very big part of it, if not the entire reason.
Udah ganti berapa nama?
I can't remember last time I've seen it on
Yeah,
Centaur.
that's true. I mean, there's a lot of strength offlaners that you wouldn't necessarily think would buy it, but it's just there's so much farming. In
Mr.
Dota that
Rais.
it's valuable.
Rais kan
Centaur
kalau nggak salah dulu
specifically doesn't need mana to farm, so it has to be an EMP solution. How much mana does EMP drain with math? Swags.
Do the math.
How do you even see that when you're spectating?
I don't.
Invoker's a little bit special. You can't just ask to see the spell.
You want to check GPT real quick?
No.
Double checking.
I don't. So Centaur's current mana pool is what's that? 765.
Yeah, I mean that's the issue. Is his mana pool in general.
If he gets EMP'd, he can't use Stampede and Stomp without the Soul Ring. So that has to be.
Probably drains around 400.
membership only for using this sticker.
got his shard now, so gets to farm by walking.
Yep, very nice.
Your favorite.
That's right. That's the only benefit.
Arteezy would say if he were here.
Daedalus now online for Yatoro, so still keeping up that net worth, has a 3K separation between him and Mickey. I mean, for a Nature's Prophet, how much do you want to be up versus the, I guess, SF in this particular?
I think this is kind of par for the course. Maybe this is slightly better than expectation. Well, if you ignore the surrounding factors, let's say both heroes just get to have a great time, which they often do because they're safe laners. Good for you. Yeah, this is probably roughly expected in this patch from what we've seen from other teams in the tournament.
Kok bisa error ya?
Obviously, we're going to be comparing them to the elite level, so let's compare the potential of Shadow Fiend as well as Nature's Prophet to how well has Satanic done. Then I think this is probably
Oh, tadi yang
maybe
YouTube
a
ya,
little under for
pantesan.
SF and on par for Prophet. Kind of checks out with how the game has gone, right? He's 3-1 on Prophet, SF has died 1. That's a good burst.
Very nice burst. They're going to kill onto the Marana as a result. The Rolling Thunder, he's able to get saved by the Cold Embrace at the last moment, though. Still inside that Rolling Thunder. Ace with the BKB. Mickey looking for the Requiem, gets it off, but they're trying to TP out. Taking the right-click damage. He's barely going to survive. Mickey with a just 10% HP. Able to get back in time.
24 menit cuma 8 kill 10. 8 dan 10 kill. What is this?
Which means Roche should be on the table.
Somebody tip Rue. That was perfect. He finds a 3-man curse onto Mirana with Shadow Fiend being one of the attackers and a clean Cold Embrace on the Pango, who was in absolute peril against Shadow Fiend there. Just wastes off the entire BKB with a Cold Embrace. These were two spells that were not really obviously going to get great impact, but they find the perfect moment for both. And now their grand prize will probably be Roche, I would imagine.
Bisa durasinya
But you can see Liquid not
salah.
remotely close to this right now, so it should be a freebie in the end.
9.
I would assume that Yatoro does claim it himself. Marl getting close to finishing his Aghanim Scepter, about 300 away. Yatoro does indeed take it. So we saw the BKB for Nisha, and it's going to be an Octarine core next. For Ace, Shivas, so we're going to see a lot of larger spells coming out of these cores pretty soon. And Mickey, of course, well, I say of course,
Oh, bahkan
goes for
entry animationnya nggak
what do you call
nyala.
this, a hybrid build right now.
I feel like it's always a hybrid build if you have Yashikaya, right? Like if you want to commit fully in
Okay.
the right-click direction,
Something
this
is
is a
wrong with the
skippable
entry
item.
animation.
Yeah, it's hybrid, but it definitely is hybrid if you go blink. Then you're not even playing into the right-click fully after the Yashikaya.
You think they'll have enough physical damage in this game?
Because Daedalus is probably fine,
Rushin,
but
Marl, right on top of Tofu again. Dunzo.
this is getting out of hand.
Yeah, the map is in control of Spirit now. 8K lead.
Being down against Nature's Prophet in Dota history just feels so bad. Like, it's...
It used to feel worse, though, to be fair. The 25 towns are fake.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, if we want to remember the worst part of every hero, then that one was definitely Prophet's.
Yep, I would attest to that.
It's always been insanely fun.
Ace. He finds Rue, but I think this might be the other way around. Has to use the BKB because Yatoro has shown up. Laurel as well. Gets off the Timber Chain to the low ground, attempting to TP, but the curse cancels it out. Because the high ground is Lacquered. He got 2 shots Rue, but he survives. Laurel does take out Ace in the end, and now Mickey on the run. Deafening Blast to hold Yatoro at bay. Remember, he does have the Aegis. First crown, about to pop. Gets the Cold Embrace, and he does get taken out. So that's life number 1, but Mickey taking a ton of damage from Laurel. Now he has backups of his teammates. The Washbuckle in the end for Laurel gives him enough space to get away. This might be a full reset as Yatoro going in really deep to kill off the SF. Some balls on that young man.
kalah gitu Liquid gimana nih?
Liquid was definitely not expecting that.
The classic Giga Chat, TP in 1v3 under the enemy tower to kill the Kara and just walk it off.
Insane.
I mean, he kept track of the abilities. There was nothing left. There's nothing countering your BKB in this game. If you just BKB TP in on Prophet, you know Shadow Fiend doesn't have resources to fight you back. What's going to stop you? There's no BKB piercing stun. There's no inherent save for the guy you're going on.
Right.
So, yeah, why
Kau
not just
taruh di
dive?
mana? Kok lupa?
Trying to split these waves.
Custom
Create
chat,
some time, and
custom
the
chat.
backdoor protection will not kick in at times. The tier 2 goes the way of Spirit. No longer with the Aegis though. I see the Hydra's breath on
It's not
Yatoro as well
TTS.
now.
I can't believe Nature's Prophet gets to be the 8th pick of the draft between these two teams. That's actually just mind-blowing.
You've been talking about this hero the entire tournament.
It's so good, and it's against Mickey, who's also incredibly skilled at this
Oh
hero.
bener di sini.
They rated Shadow
Sorry,
Fiend
aku-
higher. I don't mind that. If you think it's better, I think they're like on par. But then the fact that they didn't ban this going into the second phase, you've seen Yatoro, you've seen Satanic, you know Mickey himself, how good this hero is. I don't know. I don't think you let this hero through in the second phase to any of the specialist teams. It's just too good for me. Yatoro
That looked
showcasing
good.
it here.
Yeah.
525 CS at 30 minutes.
How does that compare to Satanic, would you say?
Close, I think.
1,000 GPM?
Maybe
We're
Yatoro
getting
watching
towards
some
there at least.
replays. Must be weird being the guy everybody learns from for like 3 years, and now maybe there's somebody you can learn from for once.
I think Satanic, at around this stage of the game, had about 900 something GPM. So,
I thought you were gonna say CS, and I was like, sure, buddy.
Wait, it's not this
maybe if there was
even.
a
What?
That's for the
playing
next
against,
patch. Shannon.
playing
That's
against Enigma and who else?
Brood Mother.
Mother.
I have intel. The next patch, the map will be even bigger.
It's not
It'll
this
have
one.
4 lanes, and yeah, Prophet Teleport starts without a cooldown at the beginning of the game.
Oh, that's nice.
So then maybe 900 CS will be obtainable.
Okay.
Meteor, trying to wipe out this bottom wave. I mean, you're just playing for time here on Liquid, hoping that you can get to some point of critical mass. If we do go late enough, I think they scale incredibly well.
Nice job from Boxy. Forces out the Rolling Thunder. Didn't have any vision there, but the smoke popped, so they just assumed
Yeah.
that being a waste for Spirit. But still, with that 13k lead, pretty comfortable at the moment. And of course, as usual, Sinner, we need to talk about high ground defense. They have an Invoker. That is
Yep.
maybe...
It's good.
Is there a better hero in the game than Invoker for high ground defense?
If I had to pick one, it's him.
Does he still have that Axe with tornadoes?
The Twisters, yeah.
But usually people go, well, it depends, I guess, on the game.
People don't really buy
Alertnya tak
That's true.
simpen
Axe
di
is-
mana?
If you have a really good Cataclysm setup, which
Yeah.
they do not, then
Kok
maybe.
bisa nggak ada?
Yeah. It seems this shard, this current shard on him, has overtaken the Ags, which people used to get for the tornadoes. He's going to be spotting us
So
off the tornadoes.
delete everything.
Has to pop the BKB. Yatoro's there. The right clicks are just fearsome. And Nisha falls to the ground. Buys the Octarine in time, but still another death to his name. 60 seconds.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out, Yatoro's actual net worth to damage ratio here is insane because he has bypassed
Mungkin ada
height.
namanya.
This is an item you almost always see Prophets buy because they need mobility, but he's just so overwhelmingly powerful in this game that he's been able to go for the Hydra's breath. And
Wow, they already have every shard? Really?
yeah,
At 32 minutes?
yeah. So Shadow
Who
Demon
bought it?
So Shadow Demon did buy it, which
Yeah.
I'm super happy to see because I just think it's incredibly good this game. The first one they
Sorry,
found went to
baca chatnya
Wyvern,
rada
right?
Yeah, that's
And that's
the
the
only one.
one I would suggest not
Telat.
buying. So it checks out.
Wow.
You could have not bought the Prophet one, I guess, but
Hey, he's got it.
Poinnya belum
this is never an issue for Profit.
I mean, you talked about how it
Harusnya
might be
bisa
more
sih
valuable to just
diimplementasiin
get the
tapi
gold
belum.
anyway, if you only have one shard left,
Yeah, if your Prophet is,
because he's farming so well anyway.
yeah, you're effectively giving gold to your teammates by buying your shard, right?
Kalau dulu yang sistem points pakai Streamlabs
Chatbot.
chatbot.
The other one, his arrow will be
Udah
dodged.
nggak aku pakai lagi
Ace
soalnya.
looking for the opening, blinks right in. Root taking a huge burst damage. Stuck inside the brambles now. Has to use the curse, but dies shortly after. Right click now onto collapse. Mickey. Meanwhile, Nature's Prophet right clicking. Ace able to get the BKB off and trying to retreat with the timber chain.
Bosan main pop pasti ada NP antara cacat gak bagus banget.
The ice wall will block them off. but he still gets the blink into the hoof
Para nga pa.
and that is a
Para
lot of
is.
damage on these
Gusto main
assets.
Dota.
The BKB with such a small amount of HP inside the pit, attempting the TP is fine.
Oh, sekarang main Dota bosen. Main 1-2 game udah bosen banget.
BKB's down for Liquid.
Worth keeping in mind, that fight started with a free kill on the Wyvern. So effectively a 5v4 afterwards, and Liquid still cannot come out on top of a single fight this game. The rich get richer. Yatoro now almost has a butterfly, so it's time to replace an item. I'm guessing you just get rid of your treads already?
It's interesting because I know that Mickey is going for Daedalus now, but I wouldn't say he's hitting particularly hard with his build. Collapse. Not able to find the hoof stomp in time. Yeah, we'll be going for the butterfly for that evasion, so we'll see if Mickey chooses to go for an MKB at some point. Because without him right-clicking, I guess Alacrity is what he's really banking on.
Yeah, that is an X factor for the game for sure. Invoker is
but
not
nobody else
take
is
the Alacrity
right-clicking.
talent though.
Yeah, so Butterfly is just, it feels like almost a hard counter to this SF in theory because it's the only one that can be right-clicking on Yatoro.
It's good. I think this has been, through Yatoro's career, one of the things that impressed me the most about him has been his itemization. I think he, in plenty of games, he's not been afraid of doing something outside of the norm. Not that this in particular is anymore, but just has always had a very good understanding of what he needs to achieve with every item purchase. And I've said this many times on casts before, I find itemizing on hard carries really difficult with all the options you have and with all the problems that different games present. Having that reference for what to buy, even at the elite level, you see players make, I would say, clear mistakes in what items they buy, but it's very rare.
Wait, everything is broken now.
Except this teleport.
Oh boy, Arrow not going to be there because of the BKB. There's an Alacrity on Tofu of all heroes. Laurel still looking for a connection. They're inside that Moonlight Shadow, though they actually do find Nisha in the end, and he just gets destroyed by the Stampede. Yatoro gets the last right click. And again, Invoker down and out. Can Liquid fight without him? I don't think so.
I was talking about it there, Shannon. Yatoro's itemization, having BKB this game, genius.
Yeah,
just absolutely
really unusual.
Stellar itemization to have BKB for a situation like that. All right.
Roach number 2. The Belch comes out. This will be a freebie for Spirit.
And another great item for Yatoro here, the Aegis of the Immortal. Good pickup.
Yep. Good choice for Yatoro.
Backpack is BKB, that's a good choice.
Well done. Really glazing him today.
So he's going for Axe next. I mean, you're at the point now where you're just full luxury territory.
Get rooted. Boxy trying to scare the big bad Yatoro, but obviously with that Aegis not gonna bite at all.
Oh, hello.
TP's right into the Timber Saw. Will have to force his BKB TP himself.
And then he teleports somewhere else.
That's right.
To get mana at base, and then he's going to teleport bottom and start hitting the tower.
He'll be back. Double Siege Wagon for Spirit. Plenty of time on his Aegis. Claps with the hoof stomp onto Tofu. The Rolling Thunder from Lauren creating a good amount of space. First only on the one, though. Nisha will get off the BKB. You can see a little bit of focus on the belly. Mickey in the midst of all this goes for the Requiem play. Not doing, he does a decent amount of damage, but he ends up dying for it. Not me gets the kill. It's going to be a trade for Collapse, though, as Spirit trying to do a soft reset. They're going to lose their support now. Barrick's still up and running. Yatoro gets clipped by the arrow and the tornado. Is this life number 1? Nice force staff, and the load is coming out from Rue. Will help Yatoro survive, as you can see Tofu now trying to keep these pesky Spirit players out of their base. So far, success.
Dying.
Tofu is dropping quite low. 4 health, all right. Will survive. Boxy very deep in the midst of this. Is Roots attempting to get away. Looks like Yatoro will be just fine, but Laurel not so much. Bramble after Bramble. Out of mana now. Gets off the blink at the last moment. He's actually going to get out. It looks like it. As Yatoro came back, apparently, just to BKB TP in their face, which creates enough space for the Pango to get away.
I can't believe that worked from Mickey. That's so insane. He offensively piked into Requiem, and somehow they actually hold there. was about to say this.
Yeah.
Is not 50-50. All right, well, step number one. This is, unfortunately for Liquid, this happened so fast after the Aegis pickup that Spirit definitely have a second attempt in them for this bottom lane.
Yep. And they had the banner the whole time, too. I'm a little surprised they didn't use it there. But we'll have it for this second attempt.
Yotaro probably shouldn't be the one holding said banner.
Probably not.
A little bit of inventory management issues. You should offload this, outsource the banner to a teammate.
Oh, they have a shield rune as well. As he consumes the Aghanim Scepter and is going for Moonshard next. Does not have buyback, but not worried about that with that Aegis. Obviously, Boxy will be run into. And Rolling Thunder looking for a connection. Ace gets off the Timber Chain with the BKB. Yotaro joining the party as well. They get the bash, though. The right clicks will come. Nice tornado. Keeping Yotaro at bay, but Nisha gives away his position in the tree line, attempting to go away, but no! He gets cursed in the TP, and Laurel's gonna be there to finish the job.
No buy.
No buyback, 80 seconds, and this is 5 versus 4. That's not even including the Aegis.
I'm afraid no buy means bye-bye for this one.
Do believe.
Really difficult now. Holding without your primary high ground defender for a full minute. When all 3 lanes are pushing in with a Nature's Prophet and a banner. Good luck.
Just go to every lane, push them out, and now the pressure is on Liquid. Tier 3 tower, Dunzo. Roche banner still up and running. This is going to be at least a set, if not more. Laurel getting in a little bit deep with Swashbuckler to the low ground. Arrow not going to find his mark. Still 40 seconds for Invoker. You would think this is going to be 2 sets because they did a lot of damage in that bot side. See if Spirit stick around. Still a minute on the Aegis. And the Prophet TPs to the top side, so it wants to go for the building that is full HP, it seems. Interesting. Get gone on by Ace. A good amount of damage gets that Satanic, though, and getting a very respectable amount of HP. The work was done not nearly enough. Ace will take a tumble, and he does not have buyback. So now that Nisha's coming up, the rest of his teammates aren't even alive, and this might just end up being Mega Creeps now as a result. Surprised they didn't wait. Either way, Spirit in firm control of this game now. That is a second set in their favor. Mickey looking for a cheeky spot to get this Requiem off. It's still on cooldown for 5 seconds. As Yotaro looking for the full megas in favor of Spirit, and he'll get it. 32k lead for Spirit in this game number 1. Looking extremely sharp.
Yotoro's GPM? The enjoyers out there? 1100.
Wow.
That's
pretty good. Yeah.
Is that a top 3 of the event? There's been some pretty nutty Prophet games, but this is definitely up there.
Tornado Sun strikes a lot of damage to Laurel. We'll get the roll up.
2 seems to fix the problem.
Which is going to be brought back into Nisha's face, apparently. Gets off the Yule though. Now Laurel put in a precarious spot and will die. Will drop the gem as well. They'll kill off Boxy though in turn as Rue getting saved the last moment by the destruction of Yotaro. He just fountain farming at this point. Still 20 seconds for Ace to come back. There's a double buyback on the Liquid. Arrow shots. Arrow.
To change everything. This is such a hassle.
They're able to get the kill now onto the center in all likelihood. That's a death requiem though for the Shadow Fiend. Does have the buyback if needed, but this is enough dead for Spirit that Liquid should be able to hold on here. As Collapse attempting to TP out, very ambitious.
Terutama bosan kalau ada temen gak sih, tapi kalau ada temennya seru. That's not completely wrong, but it's also not completely true sometimes.
Well, Liquid, they do hold. They find the first kill of the game onto Yotoro's Prophet 8-1 and 15.
Kinda agree.
It's an arrow that does him in, and I think Shadow Demon could not disrupt because of the immediate follow-up Requiem.
Especially these days. I don't really care about
so Laurel just is there
MMR or Ring.
Rue here is just going to kill the Mirana, and they want to follow up.
That's the problem, right?
Yeah, so now he doesn't have it. And Yotaro wanted to follow up on Collapse's Stomp. They were hoping to kill
these days I would rather play
and this Requiem really
anything else but Dota. I just want to chill.
Man, the fact that Mickey dies there is actually so close to surviving too.
Well, they're going to do as much damage to buildings as they can while these heroes are dead, but unfortunately for Liquid, it's still against Mega Creep, so this is a slow push.
They're going to get 25 on Timber for this, so that's a bit of an upgrade.
Mickey always looks at
SF is 25.
Remember, this is Elimination Series. Yeah, Tofu close to that Aghanim Scepter now. 100 away. Will help the push. But still, Mega Creep comebacks are few and far between. Normally we see it when it's Megas versus Megas. That's the Mega Creep comeback.
I thought you were going to say normally we see it when it's Megas versus Liquid, because that's the one time it happened this tournament.
Yeah, that's true.
I believe they were the first team to lose against Megas in the last 3 years of TI.
3 years, really?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
That's obviously a great stat to have for Liquid. That feels really good.
I mean, what do you talk about here if you're Liquid? Like,
I think you need to strategize how you get on Shadow Demon. Find a way to
Schedule mana ya?
envision a way of setting up a fight that you can somehow take it on your terms to kill the support. Going against Moro first is just not going to work. He's way too tanky, way too good coverage between the two defensive supports, plus the cart, Stampede, all of that.
Stage. TI
And that's where,
2026.
at this point in the game, it would feel really, really nice to have like a blink
Not even
hex
group stage.
and just be able to
Main
start a fight.
event.
Nobody has it though. You don't have a blink targeted stun. You don't have an immediate, obvious hero to frontline with, except Timber, who.
So the next game is next series is Nigma versus Boom Boy,
yeah, that's
Ace just
pretty
hasn't
accurate,
really-
actually, yeah.
He hasn't really
and
all
then
that much. So.
upper bracket
Ace is
final
gonna be the one
Vision
trying
Yandex,
to fulfill that task here. He has the gold for
and
the hex now
then
with
lower
no
bracket
expense
finals.
buyback.
There's a chance,
The
Liquid
winner
fans.
versus winner.
Technically speaking, it's a great Ace Ventura. You
That
could
1% is because
Berarti
of Liquid
1,
Yandex.
2, 3, 4
Actually, no, that was
series.
Dumb and Dumber. Sorry about that, Cinderin. I know you're a big
Liquid
4
Yandex, Dumb and Dumber?
series.
No, of course not.
Uncalled for. Dumb and Dumber is you.
Wah iya
Guess
bukan
what you
faktor
want.
Dumber.
bisa jadi.
28k lead here for Spirit. I assume that they
Bisa
chill
jadi.
a bit. They wait for these buybacks. So, and I say wait, farm up those buybacks because they haven't really used them, and then go for the Roche to finish the job. And for Liquid, I cannot see a scenario where they come back here if they give up Roche.
No.
Do you agree with that?
I would agree.
But it's so difficult to just leave your base at this point of the game. I don't even know how you can test Roche.
Yeah, the issue is I also can't see a scenario where they win the Roche fight, so it's a little bit tricky, right? Now that both enemy supports have Neon Discs, that was the thing I was talking about. They need to get on the supports and kill them. Well, they can't. They don't have a purge either, so...
What if they bring all their couriers to the Roche pit, try to hide them, and go for the item steal?
I like it.
You don't need your couriers there.
No, it's creative.
It's something.
But yeah, leaving your base, when you... I mean, Mega against Prophet, have you ever seen that hero lose?
Apa sih namanya giftnya itu? Lupa.
I don't think so.
This is
Oh,
like
yeah.
the worst hero in Dota to play against when you have Mega Creeps on your team. You just... non-stop push
It
in.
used to be
farms
worse, though.
everywhere.
Remember, so.
It could be
Remember
worse.
the
It could be worse, yeah. The good old talent
All right,
was
well.
Ironwood Tree.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's favorite.
Oh, man.
So Spirit have Aegis, Cheese, Refresher Shard on the Pango, and Roche Banner again. And Roche Banner at this stage of the game starts to get really scary, especially with the Mega Creeps. You can put it relatively far away. Look at the damage that these Mega Creeps take. Not much.
Where is Gorek?
Laurel leading the way, going to the tier
Gorek
4s. Laurel
belum
opens it up
live
with
stream.
the Rolling Thunder, finding a couple connection. Mickey not using the BKB, blinks out instead.
Love it.
The Meteor coming down. Yatoro getting pretty low, looking for the cart connection. He's going to get disrupted instead, but the arrow's going to keep the Centaur in place. Yatoro wants to preserve this life number 1, but he gets bursted down by Ace. So Aegis is down and out. Nice start for
Okay.
Liquid.
Liquid is still fighting. Oh my god, NP-nya.
Not quite enough. Trying to get away. Good arrow. Arrowed again. The disruption the same. There's the curse coming out of the meantime.
Sounds
Three
like
members
miss.
stuck. Yatoro still stuck with very little HP. Finally will fall.
Okay,
Does
NP
have the
is
Viking
down.
They can TP back into this fight as well. Ace
No buyback on
himself has his
Willow.
number changed back to the fountain, and now
It's Mega Creeps.
the Ancient fully exposed as the tier 4s are out. We'll see if Yatoro wants to expend the buyback or not.
Man, they killed him
Roche banner still up. This feels like the time to use it.
Oh, di belakang ada siapa? Timber. Dikeroyok 4 orang. Is dead. Slash buyback.
And still, Yatoro available to come if he wants. It's the buyback now onto Ace. Trying to reset for Spirit. Timber chain onto Laurel.
Invoker and Timber both back.
The shield crash on the Mickey. Attempting to get out, does blink away safely. Not me, not going to be so lucky.
Okay, buyback on NP. This is gonna be dangerous. Liquid is dead. No buyback.
For 2 full minutes on this core. That's 2 dead in fact for Liquid with no
It's
way to get back in the
GG.
game. Arrow going to be dodged by Laurel. Might have to reset a bit for Spirit. They can use these creeps to their advantage. Yatoro back into the fray though. Right-clicking now the Ancient, the hoof stomp onto Mickey.
Time is running out.
The deafening blast coming in. Yatoro continuing to go for the buildings.
Fantasy pointku siapa ya?
There's the curse
Oh,
of last moment. Finally for the
Team Spirit, core Team Spirit.
But Yatoro left to his own devices. Mickey comes in with one last
Supportnya udah eliminasi tapi.
not going to be enough.
Falcon.
He will fall to the ground and Spirit surely will
Cuy,
be able to
cuy.
take game number 1 and they do. GG's our call. Entertaining game against or with these two teams. It feels like every time we watch these teams.
Give me my fantasy points.
Absolutely. If your stats are out there, just to give you the conclusion, Yatoro ends the game with 1121 EPM. So eclipsing the 1100 in a stellar individual performance. And I gotta say, all of Spirit in this game played exceptionally well. Every single one of them showing up in good form today. I love their draft. I love what they were able to do around the mid-game portion. And yeah, Liquid, they were struggling to string it together.
That's right, Sheeper.
Thank you very much, Cinnamon and Sunspan there. We talked after the draft. We knew it was going to be difficult for Team Liquid in this game. We knew there was a lot of focus on the early stages of the game where we needed Mickey to do well, especially, and we thought maybe with getting first blood, that would be a great step in the right direction. But Tiga, that was far from enough.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Yatoro's GPM was 1121. That's now the 3rd highest GPM of any player in a tier 1 or tier 2 match in the history of Dota. It is absolutely incredible from him, but of course, that aside, everyone on Spirit just played extremely well. I think they were really methodical how they played the early game, taking that safe lane tower, moving towards the mid tower, and then they kind of went a bit quiet, just hit the creeps, they don't have to overplay, wait for when they're ready, and then they'll kind of slowly progress the map to Liquid doing literally nothing.
Yeah, I really liked how Spirit played the early game with bringing the Nature's Prophet to kill Mickey in lane. Whilst I don't think, you know, we expected they might have done it multiple times, they did it once and then took the tower, but the important thing after that was they placed a ward in the farming line at the bottom of the map, so they knew it when Mickey was just farming up and down there. I don't think they went to gank him, but it was more like we know when he's there, thus he cannot join fights on like the mid lane, for example. So Spirit played really nicely with their vision and pressure early game.
Yeah, and I think Winter also, the Winter Wyvern, we talked about briefly during the start of the day. This first pick for Team Spirit worked out so well.
Yeah, in a lot of the team fights, you could see why I was happy. If I'm a Wyvern, I'm playing to the SF, I could always have a lot of opportunities to get a good cold embrace off. The curses were great. I think this is a hero that has risen up in stock by so much during the playoffs, and I'm expecting maybe the hero is going to be banned as well. You know, you have to consider maybe if you want to ban it. But overall, I think Liquid's downfall is because they over-budgeted on the cores. You know, they have too many cores that need to farm, and as a result, Nisha, he was punished in this game because he couldn't really farm Ancients because Timber was taking the Ancients, and he constantly had to take the dangerous waves, and he got ganked, and Timber can't really help him, you know, in the early game. So they were very, very defensive. They were very passive from the start, and they just have very, very little control over the course of the game.
Yeah, especially if you do compare that to Team Spirit, who just seem to be on point almost time and time again. Team Liquid, you know, they fought valiantly at the end of the game. You have to, as lower bracket at the International, you have to fight till the bitter end and hope that there is a mistake that you can still make your way back from. And with, as we
Untungnya
do
Discord
take a look
masih
at the
aktif loh. Aku
scores,
download
at the end
Discord
of the
buat lihat
day, Doro
berita.
did die twice. First death was only at like 41 minutes, so you know we'll forgive him for that. He had a near flawless game there. For me
Download
though,
Discord buat lihat
I'm having to
berita.
give this
What?
MVP to Rue
Gimana
Rhea,
caranya lihat
'cause
berita
he
di
played
Discord?
a phenomenal Wyvern.
Yeah, I think
What kind of news?
Rue's ability to disengage these fights when Liquid wanted to go in or be aggressive or try and make moves was so pivotal. I really love these supports. This IM build especially, having Blink for your best positioning, having Force Off to help protect your allies, but also Eon Disc. Not dying is the most important thing you can do on a support. And genuinely, when games this TI have gotten to a spot where both supports can have Eon Disc, I feel like it becomes impossible for the other team to play because this is the highest priority target. Wyvern, every single fight, was getting off the right ults and the right heals to make it so that Mickey could do 0 damage.
Yeah, and also you can see from the inventory, right, him having only the brown boots, not the mana boots. Mana boots are quite expensive, right? So being able to understand like when you need to buy them on a pos 5, like in certain games you need to help your cores as they're farming, run through the jungle, give them mana. But with Winter Wyvern, having that blink dagger as quick as possible, being able to play around it is gonna really open up a lot of these engagements. So again, you don't have to default buy items, like you can just change it up based on game to game, and that is a good example of, again, many Wyvern players just skip it, but
I feel a little attacked.
yes, that was a call. That was not a call of what the pros did. I was just reminding you guys that you don't always have to default buy items. Sorry, Shiva.
I mean, that's why I didn't really like the last pick on Timber, because they didn't have the right hero. They didn't have a hero to deal with all these supports. That's why I suggested Mars, which is not a very common hero now, but Mars would have given them a way to find the backlines. Because with their heroes, the Invoker, the Timber, and the Shadow Fiend, I mean, you could maybe say ultra late game, the Invoker can blink in, or if he has blink, or somehow find the backline. But over the course of the first 20-30 minutes, every fight, Wyvern got off like a very, very big ultimate in every single fight.
Yeah, and we would have loved to see Invoker have more impact in this game, but let's be real. I feel like maybe Laurel had Nisha's number a little bit. To break that one down, we're heading over to Purge.
Thank you, Cheever. Yes, the Pango Laurel, he played amazing this game, and I wanted to show some small details here. Sometimes in a game, the small little margins make the difference. It could be 10 mana, it could be a couple extra kills, but what Laurel does as Pango is he's using his skills to do a long-range attack. And if he can get 2 creeps, kill the Forge Spirit or harass the Invoker, that's a really good plan for him. So he's trying to consistently use his mana in ways that benefit him. Now here's probably the most crucial part of the game. 4 minutes here, this rune is about to spawn, which means that he's going to refill his bottle, and if he does so, he gets a bunch of mana. And unfortunately, the cold snap was a fraction of a second too late. As a result, Laurel's able to get his rune. He's able to refill his bottle. He ends up getting back to the mid lane before Nisha, and now he gets access to both water runes, which is a huge amount of mana. And with this mana, he now gets to use his skills multiple times to harass his opponent. He did miss that swashbuckle there, but he gets a shield crash here, and he's going to end up pressuring the creeps and going under the tower. This clip's going to be a bit of a long one here. So now he uses his water rune. He's bottling up now. He gets to use swashbuckle to harass Nisha. He gets to use the shield crash, but he doesn't have enough mana for his next spell. So watch what he does. He uses his last bottle charge. He uses a clarity. Nisha sees this, says, I need to stop that mana regen or I'm going to die. And he uses cold snap from long range. But he got just enough mana here, and as a result, ends up getting
Ini meme udah berapa tahun ya?
Crazy good play from Laurel. That all cascaded from that water rune earlier. And the pressure really didn't stop because the same thing kind of happened here. Eventually, Nisha does go for a kill on Laurel. Laurel gets stampeded away. His teammates come and back him up here. But as a result of that earlier advantage and Nisha not quite having full mobility yet, he ends up getting pressured, killed under the tower. This pressure that Laurel put on Nisha was really, really big for the game because it meant that Nisha was not impacting the game as much. And so much of it cascaded from that early kill due to the water rune fight and due to this early pressure by the Team Spirit support. So excellent play by Team Spirit to get ahead and not let Nisha control the game.
Thank you very much, Purge. It really is a butterfly effect. When things start to go wrong, it can go wrong way further down the line because that one mistake that was made very much earlier. We're going to take a look at some of the fights that happened after that laning stage started the way it did for Team Liquid. As Winter, there was one fight fairly early on that you wanted to highlight for us.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about how the early game was quite very, very passive from the Liquid side because they had very, very greedy farming costs. So this is the best thing they could do. They brought a lot of heroes. They see Team Spirit invading and trying to control their jungle and take the bounty run, so they bring numbers. This is something that I think they did really well in the early game, making sure that they defend and they at least have access into the jungle, because Nisha was constantly getting pressure, like Kevin mentioned. He couldn't really farm very well, so he needed the help to come towards his side of the map so that he can actually farm, because he's not getting any Sunstrike kills based on the heroes. That's not really a good setup for Sunstrike. So if he can't get to farm the jungle, then where does he go?
Okay. Goes to the fountain. He's gonna be sad. That's kind of what happened. No, it's definitely a rough one for Anisha's Invoker in this one, which was not just his fault, but it was the draft coming together in a little of a poor way, some might say. And there was another fight right that happened a little bit later.
Yeah, this fight is actually initiated by Liquid in that they smoke up for it. They enter the jungle and try to take this fight, but this is the Wyvern impact we talked about. Instantly, this ball of heroes have no way to initiate because of this last pick Timbersaw that doesn't give them a way to fight. So this Wyvern ult catches 3 heroes, they instantly kill Mirana, and then it just becomes Mickey doesn't know what to do. He wants to hit Lal, who's able to get his roll off due to this Wyvern stall, but then when he starts clicking him, Wyvern then just heals. And then he continues to, through his BKB, hit the healed Lal target, which doesn't have any impact. Ace is also caught in the Wyvern ult, isn't able to have any impact on the fight. He has to use his own BKB, also then hits Lal's Wyvern heal target. So but it felt like the Wyvern had caused so much dysfunction at the start that they didn't really, they weren't able to find an actual target to go on. And then when you have Nisha on the side who was a little bit more out of the fight, then Yotaro just TPs on him and kills him. It's like, no one can do anything when the matchup is this skewed and you don't have an easy way to start your fights.
I see an overarching trend here, and I'm sure you guys at home see too, because we got on one side, you got Invoker, he needs someone to play with, he needs someone to set up Sunstrikes, and he needs someone that doesn't steal his farm. Simple. I got already one thing in mind, you do too, and then on the other side, you know, we got a great team fight, but not everybody's able to come together. We can't start the team fight in the way we want to. Who normally starts the team fight, T-Gov?
All right, so just to be clear, all right, it's not Ace's fault, all right? I'm going to show a graphic of Ace, but just want to put that out there. I feel like he was kind of put into a really difficult position in the draft because they made him, like, they needed to find a hero for him to try and pop off on. At 30 minutes into the game, he had the lowest damage of his entire team. So sure, maybe he could individually play better in this Timbersaw game, but with the setup of this draft, going for the Shadow Fiend, then the Invoker, double range support, having the Spirit ban out the Tusk and the Clockwork, of course the Bane already banned out in the draft, like there was no natural support to kind of amplify this aggression. There was no way to bring life to the game. And then Ace was playing a Timbersaw, sure, a very good hero for him historically, maybe not in current years, but it's just like, it just didn't feel like the correct pick after watching the game, of course. In the draft, it's like, sure, if they play really well and they use the supports and contest runes and they play through the map, then and they make space for SF, sure, they can play this game, but none of that happened. So in the game, they didn't play to the standard of how complicated their draft was. So I feel like in the next game, they have to tone it down. I don't want to see carry into mid-pick, double range. I want to have just the classics, the initiation, the information that Winter's asking for, the ways to find the Winter Wyvern, the ways to start multiple fights with different options, because it's so scripted how they must fight. And Spirit, when they see the script, they will read it and outplay you. You have to make it more complicated for your opponent.
It's the support though. I think the hero that you suggested during the draft before Undying, I think when they had SF, maybe they needed something that's more stable in the early game, because the Mirana just kind of doesn't really protect the SF at all. It's a nice hero, and in the games that I felt like Mirana was very impactful was when he had a very, very easy way to set up his arrow, like with Bounty, with Bane, for example, or SD. And I think with the Dark Willow, it's just that doesn't really feel like the support duo kind of worked out for them. So I would like to see them maybe change that up and try to figure out what works better.
Also, even Rebet's son, the Aegis looks so exciting. If the next match, I just want to talk about the items. I'm like really excited about it, but the match is about to start. I don't want to take away that hype.
You're good. The match is soon starting. But first, we need the players in the booth, Rhea, and they will take their spot once again. Team Liquid in the lower bracket, no stranger to being with their backs against the wall. Team Spirit, this is the first match. They are playing in the lower bracket, and let's be real, that first game didn't look like they were playing in the lower bracket. They had a great time, a comfortable time. One of the all-time highs for the Nature's Prophet of Yotaro as well, and he's of course looking to replicate those results, so everybody at home knows that it's not Satanic's year, it's his year once again. And to do that, he needs to choose the right items, Ray.
Oh my God, me!
Yeah, you can talk about the items. That's all good.
Okay, the reason I was getting hyped is because when you talked about the Timber Saw, I wanted to criticize his item build a little bit. Because if you look at what he bought, he went for the Sanjin Kaya and he went for the Blink and the Heart and the Shivas. He built to be so tanky, and when I feel like you don't have this correct initiation, I would hope instead that he would buy a Scythe of Vice. Because having the ability to Blink Hex would actually give a setup for his team to start getting kills. And something that I thought was so nice in response to that was because Yatoro had a Wyvern and a Shadow Demon to play with saves. It meant that he didn't have to buy a Hurricane Pike. Typically we see these Dragon Lances turn into Pikes because another 4-stuff on the team, always good. Instead, he gets to buy the Hydra's Breath. And the reason this is so nice is because when you attack with it, it does 2.5% of your opponent's max HP as damage. So when you're playing into a Timber, it's like you don't have to worry about his armor because you're doing damage with this Hydra's Breath, and you don't have to worry about all these tanky HP items because you have Hydra's Breath. And I just thought that was a really nice result of the draft and the itemization of this game.
I mean, would you have liked it if he gone for Gleipnir so he can at least have a way to set up for his team, like for the Sunstrikes?
No, I think he built perfectly, and I think he's the best player in the world, Winter.
Okay. There you go. He's the best player.
All right, but this...
Oh, wait, you're talking about Timber Saw?
Yeah, Timber.
Yeah. I was like,
Sorry, I got confused.
why's
Yeah.
Profit buying Gleipnir?
I don't know. We could go back a year in time.
I just stay quiet. I was like, all right, I'll let them do that.
Oh, you're right. Gleipnir could have been good, yeah.
For Timbersaw.
Yes,
For the
yes.
Timbersaw. Well, we took a step back, and it wasn't just a Timbersaw. It was how they set up the entire draft. So that leads me to believe that at the end of the day, going into this game too, Blitz is going to be like, yo, guys, that was on me. No worries. Don't sweat. I got his next time around. Because going into this second game of an elimination series, you have to have your head on straight, and you have to know and be comfortable that you got what it takes and that you got the tools in the draft as well.
Yeah, if they want to keep the same draft order, if they do want to play the Shadow Fiend into Winter Wyvern, I would probably just move towards not taking Invoker on 13. Like, put the Mirana there if they want to. If they really want to have these type of heroes, let the draft breathe for a little bit longer. And then when you open through the later phase, getting the 2 response picks to the opening of second, then you can go for it. But I just don't think the double core and give Spirit, like, all the information in the world. Like, that is the scariest thing to give to Spirit.
I actually think the problem was in the second phase draft when Spirit removed Tusk and Clockwork in the second phase draft. And I think why they didn't go for Undying was because Tofu doesn't like to play the melee heroes, and Boxy doesn't play... He doesn't want to play Undying. He plays the melee heroes he plays is Tusk and Clock.
Yeah.
And Tofu only plays one melee hero, Trian. And that hero is probably not going to be...
Permaban.
Yeah, probably not going to be available. So I think that is an issue that they need to look at. If Meke is playing a range hero, how do they solve it? Do they want to pick the melee hero earlier, or do they have a replacement? Because I think they don't have a replacement. That's my theory.
Are we in a world where they get so afraid of this concept and they start not first picking, like literally first phasing with no cares of anything else? Like, we're taking our task or clock just to be able to get the range combos down the line.
They need to secure the system. I think the system is very, very important for them to be successful. They need to have like a melee plus range combination, and they need to have the lane setup that would benefit them. The last time out, they have the Mirana and SF. That caused a lot of problems for them. Sure, maybe they could have adjusted some of the bans to accommodate that, but I think there's just too many holes they needed to plug there, and it was very, very difficult for them to do it.
What do you think about the alternative of a Centaur pickup instead of Invoker? Because I think that makes the offlane a lot more stable than having to reach this last pick. And
yeah, you get a Helm hero, so he creates a distraction as well, like the Timber, but at the same time, he's not so greedy. You know,
he has a stun.
He has a stun.
yeah,
That's nice.
yeah.
He has
TI
a stun.
analysis, guys.
He's lower budget, and they could actually give more space to Nisha. You pick his Invoker, you need to be able to give space to him to farm.
Yeah, it sounds also simple, and we're talking about this obviously now in hindsight. Going to the booth, I think both Maposhka and Blitz will have thought about this to try to 5-hat each other and be one step ahead of the curve. Let's see who is one step ahead of the other as we head into the next one.
Team Spirit versus Team Liquid. Game 2.
Hello.
For this second game, we got Team Spirit on the Radiant side and Team Liquid on the Dire side. And it's a full swap because Team Liquid also has the first pick that was in the hands of Spirit in game 1. It is also overall last pick for Team Spirit here. So we'll see what answers Liquid has. There is already quite the change in this game, because in the previous game we saw both Lina and Ember removed from the pool, and both for now are still in. The Winter Wyvern made it in as well, into the bans that is, and that also means that the Bounty Hunter is no longer
It's gone.
It's gone. It's right now removed. Shadow Fiend also still removed, so definitely quite a big development here.
Yeah.
One thing to note is
These
the
are cool
Slaughter
bans.
still in.
You need to pick your supports. A lot of the supports are banned. Like out of the first phase bans, what, 4, 5 of them are support heroes?
Yeah.
I mean, I find this is pretty impressive from Liquid to come into this game and go, you know what, this is what we're going to approach the bans with, because we're making a case for a good Winter Wyvern game, or the fact that Bane, of course, is a staple. Shadow Demon getting promoted all the way to first phase, I don't think was in contention.
No,
but
I don't think anybody thought of that.
With the Wind Ranger pickup, you can see it now obviously makes a little bit more sense, right? But still, 3 supports into Wind Ranger.
Wait, I don't see it how it makes sense. I'm sorry. Why does it make more sense now that we see Wind Ranger?
Wind Ranger walks in, you just disrupt the person that she's going on, and then now her focus 5
Oh, you said
BKB is
Shadow
going
Demon.
low.
Sorry, I thought it was Shadow Fiend you said. My bad.
No.
My bad.
Shadow Demon.
Different shadows.
Like, yep, cool, great.
I like this Wind Ranger pick as well, because a hero they have left in is Lina, who has been famously first phase. But I really like Liquid taking Wind Ranger as an answer to Lina, because she is able to just go in with BKB and focus fire Lina and just destroy her. I see Liquid do it so often. So I think it makes the first pick have to be different from Lina. We see Centaur instead, which we also considered last time we covered this matchup as unfavorable for Wind Ranger, yet Liquid still made it work.
And they have a choice to move it to Boxy if they deem that this is not really that great. But yeah, but I think Liquid also did one game that just didn't care. You know, they had the Tusk and Win. I think they just let it lane against the Centaur.
I mean, Spirit could also force the draft here by banning the Tusk of the Clock and then taking it out of phase. And then we still have the same question that we're looking for
I
answers.
think they can only ban, I guess they ban one.
They ban one, pick one,
and
right?
pick the other
So it's
one.
like you ban Tusk, pick Clock, because into Wind Ranger you don't really want to take the Tusk, right? So it's like,
yeah. That's a very good plan, I think. If you do that, it's going to put Liquid in a very uncomfortable position. Where, okay, maybe they have to pick the Undying, or maybe, I don't know, they have to figure out some other replacement which will
but it
put
causes them to have to think about it, right?
Yeah, and they have to play out of their comfort zone. And the recipe right now where I feel like Liquid really wants to get is somehow a melee on Boxy, and he can be the 5, and Who can be with Ace.
But also, as we've seen, like you already said, if
Sorry.
these things happen, if Spirit really
Bisa AFK cuy, kenapa?
the supports that we're mentioning,
Parah, gila.
Habis AFK. Kaget aku.
Yeah, but at the same
Apa?
time,
Gendong gua, Bang, gendong gua, Bang.
With a +4, if Boxy is playing the win, what is Tofu gonna play?
Aku
'Cause he
wis
doesn't really have
jarang
a
main
very
nih.
good pool of heroes to complement Boxy's win.
I think you could potentially just go more aggressive.
Awakmu cek live stream lah.
The witch doctors, the type of heroes
Orang
that just,
wis
they
orang.
play the lane and they go do something.
He has to do that, but the synergy
Apa?
won't be as strong.
Posin.
We'll have to see where they go
Makre,
with this
bos.
one, as there is only one ban
Iya,
this
sih,
time
apa
around for
saiki?
Team Spirit to
Iki,
address. So
gak iso,
if the
malah gak
Clockwork
iso
and the Tusk are
menikmati
both to
mainnya
win, as
aku
they
tuh.
are ranked, only one will be banned maximum.
Itu dia
We
yang
have
aku
been,
rasakan dari dulu.
a couple bans coming out from Team Liquid. They ban out the Slaughter and the Pangolier.
Yang
Slaughter
awalnya
so
jadi
far is
hobi
only
jadi
played by Team Spirit. I don't know if they have some
malah.
flex in mind that the center could still go
Mana ya?
elsewhere. We know that Laurel could still also play the Slaughter.
When your hobby
Even
becomes
if
your
Mango, of
work,
course,
you
we
check.
saw Laurel that one.
Katakan aku iki
Yeah,
apa
all of
jenenge
Liquid bans
mencoba
are
untuk
heroes
tidak
that Spirit
toxic
will happily
kan.
blind
Hmm.
pick
Ya, tambah
to progress the
tambah
draft
tidak
to
menikmati,
then
Bos.
get you
Oh.
a later stronger pick.
Jadi
right?
terlalu
Family
memaksakan gitu ya. Memaksakan.
Masa dia pelanggar kan dia sudah dipisui balik kan.
Emang personanya gitu ya.
Iya, yang personanya gitu. Dan mencoba tidak top. Ya.
Biar tidak out of character. Tapi masih suka apa? Misalnya di dunia itu VTubing.
Suka apa?
Masih suka ada interaksi di dunia VTubing.
Oh, nongkrong. Jarang.
Sibuk IRL.
Enggak juga sih. Tipe main aja.
Main apa saiki? Sering ya?
Kota.
Aku masih sering main Dota kah?
Loh, aku ngereng terus iku.
Di akun yang mana?
Yo, akun sing iku sing WK off sama dengan autis iku.
Oh. Aku jarang lihat tapi apa aku sing jarang ngecek ya? Atau di offline-in? Oh, pantas.
Karena aku main di kono kan. Wingi kan sing terakhir kan mbok main terus sampai ancient iku kan. Nah terus main sampai area-area sampai Evan, Rockman, Rizal, ngerti gak sampai omong Arton 5 buat jambut coba gitu. Terus mencoba naik lagi terus legend papat mana.
Anak-anak sekarang mainnya ambil tidra. Aku aja sekarang kalau babar mereka mainnya ambil tidra.
Sangat lo rekor rong minggu hilang rank itu sewajar. Itu adalah waktu main 2 minggu jatuh Archon.
Archon nomor berapa sekarang?
Archon itu 2.900. Archon 5 itu tadi. Wes mau legend.
Aku sudah taubat smurfing.
Kenapa ada apa?
Nggak apa-apa. Sudah bukan zamannya nggak sih? Aku sudah nggak boosting lagi. Memang udah nggak pernah boosting. Kapan terakhir kali?
Ada sih menyebalkan sih kadang-kadang lah ketemu smurfer itu.
Iya, udah kasihan lah. Biarkan. Tapi aku yakin sekarang versus dulu masih makin banyak sekarang orang-orang
banyak.
Udah nggak ada, maksudnya aku berhenti sporting pun udah nggak mungkin, udah nggak ngerubah situasi di itu lowering MMR, soalnya udah banyak banget pasti. There's nothing different even if I stop or not.
Maybe the tide where it's like maybe it's not as like explosive in like global potential as the other two, but it's more.
Yang biasanya ngajak main siang sih ini Ucup. Udah. Kemarin Ucup kayaknya siang terus.
Kamu pernah main HSR gak sih?
HSR aku enggak. Dulu aku mainnya Genshin, Arc Knights. Temanku ada yang tukang ngurus akun tuh, HSR. Aku udah nggak main game gacha sama sekali. Udah jarang nge-game. Lebih suka nonton orang nge-game sekarang. Kenapa? Ada apa dengan HSR?
Gak apa-apa. Aku soalnya ya itu selain Dota aku HSR aku namanya.
Masih ini rame kah HSR? Udah lama banget ya Honkai.
Mau rame mau sepi kan game single player ya sebenarnya.
Enggak, maksudnya kayak kontennya itu masih sering update gitu.
Oh banyak banget. Kontennya masih update. Ini kan barusan collab sama Fate Stay Night.
Sekarang udah banyak banget game gacha nggak jelas jenisnya. Aku yang pengen main lagi itu sebenarnya Arc Knights dulu tuh, main Arc Knight. Aku suka ininya, suka gameplaynya, tower defense gitu. But too lazy to start over.
Apa namanya? Arc Knight itu deh. Apa? Bansosnya banyak.
Katanya ada ini juga, aku lihat temanku yang suka main apa namanya, kayak joki game-game gacha. Dia baru ngerilis PC version apa ya, Arc Knight sih. Setelah sekian tahun akhirnya ada PC versionnya.
Dragon Knight that you mentioned, Rhea, will be removed from the pool.
Aku masalahnya artnya nggak klik di artnya ya.
Back it up.
Of course, there is the
TP gap.
like the old Huskar and snipers if the
2D.
lane beat the puck, but
Kalau aku kliknya di gameplay.
they kind of they just exactly bad for the lineup.
Story-nya kurang ngikutin tapi gameplaynya seru.
Sacrifice a little bit of tempo, but then you eventually just have the better lineup because they've
Kalau yang 3D kan ada juga kalau misalnya tuh Arc Knights Enfield apa ya? Itu gimana tuh?
Nah, kalau Enfield aku nggak cocok sama gameplay. Aku ternyata tuh nggak begitu suka sama gameplay modelan Genshin gitu, Jan. Genshin terus apa Hua gitu aku nggak klik ya ternyata.
Nah, kalau Honkai Star Rail itu gameplaynya kayak apa emang?
Turn based.
Oh iya nih.
Yeah, this series does
Turn
not
based.
care IO.
I know it's obviously not great into coil because you're gonna partner with someone, but
Aku main
also if
itu
you're able
berarti
to have
like
four items on IO and then
wes
sustain
kelar
the
apa
coil,
namanya?
especially with your Lina who's gonna get
Expedition
tiny
main.
Wind Ranger puck, I think
Apa enggak?
Expedition.
Expedition 33.
Oh, enggak. Aku purist, aku turn base-nya purist ya. Yang nggak ada KTE-nya. Itu ada quick time event-nya aku langsung turn off itu kayak apa sih? Orang pinginnya main turn base tuh biar bisa sambil alt-tab,
Klasik
ngapain,
turn base.
berak, masak. Iya. Ini ada KTE-nya.
Emang bener-bener ini kah? Bener-bener ngerubah banget genre gitu. Gameplaynya Expedition. Ngerubah genre turn based.
Biasanya iya mau lebih ke kayak ini sih kenalin anak-anak muda yang Gen Z ini ke game-game turn based lagi kan, mereka balik main jadi tahu kan kalau turn based itu bisa menarik. Cuma buat yang purist kayak aku ya itu tadi sih kayak
Terlalu action based, terlalu itu ya.
iya KT-nya
Mengganggu
game
malah ya.
bukan opsional. Iya, kecuali bisa di turn off gitu. Soalnya gini, biasanya kan kalau kita main turn base ya, kalau kita main turn base terus kena misalnya kena wall gitu ya, musuhnya susah atau apa, nah kita mikir ya kayak, oh ini pakai item apa, terus build-nya diganti atau gimana. Ini enggak ya, kamu selama
Parry-nya jalan
kecil ya, misalnya
gitu
damage
salah.
kecil, tapi kalau kamu bisa nge-parry musuhnya terus, bisa 0 damage ya musuhnya, jadi kayak
Iya.
berubah
Oh.
nantinya.
Berarti ini main ini apa Slay the Spire kan turn based. Pernah toh?
Awal-awal dulu.
Oh.
Pernah awal-awal banget yang masih versi 1.
Tapi nggak klik.
Sekarang itu ya yang Slay Spire yang bisa co-op itu ya.
Iya yang Slay Spire 2.
Dua.
Tapi nggak ini, nggak tahan lama mainnya.
Enggak, aku nggak main lagi.
Ini kan pure turn based sama card building. Rohman yang main banyak kayak.
Kom.
Waalaikumsalam. Tuh, Jan. Itu berarti Jan.
Halo.
Halo.
Udah legend belum?
Belum main lagi gua. Bisa dulu. Ntar dikasih tim kontol males gua.
Jalan-jalan.
Jaga-jaga dikasih tim kontol ini. Males banget ini.
Lu nonton TI nggak?
Nonton. Tapi udah males, jagoanku udah keluar semua. Bete anjing, game gak jelas.
Lah, jagoannya keluar.
TI ini nggak terduga anjir.
Iya.
TI ini nggak terduga tuh tim-timnya. Tiba-tiba Yandex
Ya,
jadi kuat gitu anjing.
Ya, ku betting apa namanya? Ku betting awal-awal mengecewakan. Begitu gak aku betting menang, apa sih mau?
Betting. Wait, lu nge-bet.
Bukan betting ini yang prediknya lu dulu.
Oh.
Predik awal-awal mengecewakan karena gak dipredik malah jago, apa sih? Benci banget aku. Mana saya mainnya kayak orang autis aja, jijik banget aku lihat.
Itu kayaknya MVP of the tournament so far.
Ya, sumpah.
Di main bracket
Tapi
pertama.
aku yakin dia pasti memang antara punya autistik atau gimana sumpah. Kalau nggak autis gak bisa jangan main kayak gitu jangan sumpah Jan. Aneh banget.
Emang pos 4 harus gitu, harus kreatif. Pertama hero-hero kayak hero yang dia mainin.
Pasti punya penyakit mental, yakin aku. Udah punya penyakit mental. Gak bisa orang normal main kayak saksa itu gak bisa. Kemarin kan dicoba sama siapa sih? Ada nyoba pakai BH lagi. Gak bisa, gak bisa menyebalkan saksa asli. Aneh itu orang. Udah punya ADHD.
Tapi yang gue pelajarin ya, selama gue main Dota ya. Dari kemarin tuh kan. Gue climbing dari Guardian gue hampir Guardian 5 gue anjing. Sampai ke Legend. Kata main satu hero itu penting banget anjing.
Apa?
Ternyata main satu hero itu penting banget.
Main satu hero?
Gue cuma main Venge doang anjing. Gue cuma main Venge doang gue. Gue pertama kali itu sebelum Venge jadi meta kan. Gue main Venge itu, berdua gue main banget. Terus gue tanya ke Alek, gimana nih menurut lu Lek? Venge Alek? Venge kurang. Gak ada apa? Gak ada bagus-bagusnya. Anjing gue main bener-bener ini banget anjing. Enak banget, farmingnya cepet. Terus juga buat rank bawah kan orang-orang pada ngerti main.
Gue main kemarin soalnya pas belum ada ini spesialis array. Begitu dia ada spesialis array.
Itu udah ada spesialis array-nya anjir. Yang baru patch baru itu udah ada. Gue dari awal itu cok, sumpah.
Awal itu perang nge-spam VG pas belum ada spesialis array.
Gue dulu kalau main VG gue main di support pasti pas sebelum patch yang ada special array masuk lagi itu. Nah terus gue ngeliat gue nyobain ya, gue ngeliat deh kok nggak salah deh, gue ngeliat ada orang main Venge mid. Terus gue kok enak banget main Venge mid. Tadi awal-awal gue main Venge juga susah, kayak nih gue cari spek spek itemnya kan. Gue liat tuh item apa sih yang emang work ke Venge. Ternyata emang dia tuh work itu pas udah jadi ini anjing, udah jadi Dragon Breath tai. Dragon Breath itu sakit banget, goblok anjing. Itu item tolol sih anjing sumpah. Itu item paling tolol coba buat lawan hero-hero STR anjing. Bocor masalahnya. Bener-bener bocor. Lu Venge kalau nggak salah level 15 efeknya itu wave terror itu plus 3. Itu udah kayak free ulti Slardar anjing. Tapi buat area cok bangsat. Enak banget anjing. Udah tinggal pukul-pukul doang, habis itu pekerjaannya anjing. Stun pukul. Itu enak anjing. Kalau musuhnya jauh tinggal swap. Terus level 25 juga enak tuh. Level 25 kan nambahin 16% aura kan dari Venge-nya dia.
Tapi sebenarnya jawaban paling realnya kenapa dia bisa relevan di rank kita, belum ada yang tahu gimana cara handle orang nyawanya 2.
Oh iya. Tapi sebenarnya nggak juga sih. Emang Venge tuh annoying aja sejujurnya.
Iya kan karena bingung habis lu dibunuh terus diapain tuh nggak ngerti.
Bahkan di rank gede sekalipun juga biasanya ditinggal anjing ininya, bayangannya. Orang fokus sama hero dulu, hero yang masih hidup. Kecuali kalau di areanya udah nggak ada nih, udah nggak ada apa-apa nih, baru langsung matiin tuh Venge-nya, nggak pakai lama. Langsung take down.
Ini sebenarnya kamu lihat ini loh, kalau dia memang relevan, harusnya di TI di pick terus ya.
Nah itu yang gue bingung tuh.
Karena tadi ini dia tuh stratnya jalan karena ya karena kita di rank segini.
Sama ini sih, hero-nya belum manja sih enggak ya. Ringkih sih lebih tepatnya sih Lang. Manja sih enggak, ringkih iya nih menurut gua. Gak ada 1000 jing. Lu jadi berapa itu baru 1000 darahnya jing, sumpah. Gue ngerasain ringkih banget. Gampang mati hero-nya. Bener-bener gampang mati. Darah HP pool-nya kecil banget. Parah. Kayak lo ketemu modelan hero mage atau ketemu mage sih ini, Intel. Atau ketemu Zeus dah, nggak usah Jojo deh. Susah anjing, pengen survive. Dipetnya darah setengah. Serba salah anjing. Jeleknya itu sih, gue ngerasain match up Fengnya kalau lawan hero-hero yang burst damage sih jujur sulit banget malah. Masalahnya meta-meta sekarang tuh meta-metanya kalau nggak lu main hero yang tebel, mainnya hero-hero yang cepet ngekill anjir. Nah sedangkan si Fengnya itu kalau ketemu hero tebel sih seneng aja gitu loh anjir. Cuma balik lagi juga sama ketemu siapa line-up-nya dia sama siapa temennya. Kalau temennya lu ketemu sama yang aneh, adios anjing, meninggal cok kayaknya. Tapi asik sih, jujur gue pakai Fengnya asik sih. Terus sekarang main kalau nggak, yang paling gue beda tuh kalau orang main non druid anjing. Sumpah gue kalau main non druid tuh susah karena timnya goblok banget anjing, nggak sabaran cok. Maunya perang mulu anjing. Ini nggak tahu kondisi
memang kalau main hero-hero yang farming langsung di mute semua aja. Gak akan paham mereka juga.
Gue nggak dibacotin, cuman emang apa ya, rank bawah itu penyakitnya maunya perang terus cok. Maunya perang mulu, terus udah kalah pun masih kayak digas terus sama mereka ini. Itu yang gue betain tuh sama rank bawah tuh. Gak ada kayak nggak ada waktu buat riset aja, buat buat farming aja tuh nggak ada waktu buat riset. Kayak mainnya tuh kayak gas terus gas lagi. Itu yang gue malesin tuh dari rank bawah nih. Kesabaran mainnya cok. Mainnya gas terus anjing. Gas for remblong cok. Kalah menang bodo amat. Mana sebel gua tuh ngeliat inian, ngeliat mereka. Udah asik cok.
Tumbang ini Liquid.
Sama ini, gue kalau nggak Fengnya pakai Luna aja udah nih. main idiot aja udah lang anjing.
Luna juga enak.
Solo banget sih mainnya. Cepet farmingnya juga. Farming langsung MOM farming udah PW gue ya. Kemarin gue seneng banget anjing si Falcon pulang cok, mampus anjing. Tim toxic bangsat. Sebel gue. Lu dukung Falcon lang?
Enggak.
Tim paling gue gak suka anjing. Toxic banget timnya bangsat. Dikata-katain anjing kemarin pas pulang tuh Falcon.
Banyak yang gak suka Falcon.
Banyak musuhnya.
Iya,
soalnya ini dia dominan banget.
Bukan masih dominannya, tengil lah playernya cok.
Ya karena itu dominan terus dia tengil. Tahun-tahun sebelumnya kan dia gitu kayak uncontested. Makanya banyak yang nggak suka, banyak yang bosen. Spirit sama Falcon.
Tapi kalau Spirit tuh gimana gue bilangnya? Spirit tuh tengilnya teman tengil ini apa tengil taunting. Kalau si ini tuh tengil kayak tengil gimana sih, kayak tengil behavior lo tengil aja anjing.
Habit manner aja sih.
Iya nah. Habitnya jelek banget anjing. Mannernya jelek playernya. Gue nggak suka ngeliat apa ngeliat si Falcon.
Like when you're buying Orchid on this
Kayak kemarin pas kalah kan gue kayak mampus anjing kalah lu. Seneng banget gue anjing ngeliat kalah. Sebel anjing.
So, you think that it is worth the risk? Because we've seen
Nyebelin banget
games,
ganti
even
pemain.
with Nisha playing
Itu bisa nge-spray foto gimana nih dia baru tahu.
Robot tuh suara tuh.
What the hell?
I mean, there's definitely an argument to be made that if Terrorblades this farm, you just go Scotty, you get Butterfly, and you end the game. Like, that is definitely something that he could have considered too. Teams don't seem to really bulldoze the base at 30 minutes all that much, though. But I would agree that was a potential angle here when you're doing it this well. Might have been able to pull it off this time, but we'll see. He also hasn't bought any of the components yet. It's currently on the idea stage.
Yeah, he's also in the mid lane.
Nice
pushback.
pushback.
Somehow hits. How's that in range?
Who needs Chasm Stone if you can play like you have it?
I was gonna say. I was gonna check if he had Chasm Stone there for a moment, but Yatoro joining the party, and this will be another tower for Spirit.
That must have been Max.
Yeah, had to be.
That was super.
Or it's bugs.
On the edge.
That's why the hero's been so good at TI.
All right,
travel
another
for Laurel.
Pulang nih mah Liquid.
So with that in mind, if he does complete the coil now, power shot, this will be a support kill for Liquid.
Fantasi poin.
Something that you just have to take advantage of while you can, because this is going to get worse if you don't pull things back here. But from Puck's perspective, what itemization would you prefer him to go if the Orchid comes out? Like Yules, you have to go BKB in this game. BKB on Puck feels real bad.
It feels like Yules is quite reliable, no? There's no immediate follow-up out of the Yules that's going to ruin him.
Sets up LSA.
Well, you should be able to phase, right, every time.
Masih suka ngoding nggak? Ah, enggak lang.
So I think
Hah?
Yules is fine.
Masih suka ngoding nggak?
If the enemy has something that, like, disruptor.
Si siapa?
Masih suka ngoding kagak?
Ya kerjanya Ejan Mas Ejan.
Ya maksudnya hard code. Hard coding masih suka.
Udah jarang yang angkutan AI Jan sekarang ya.
Beautiful. Double bowling hit, a nice light strike array off the first knockback. Spirit are in form. This is really, really solid from them.
Out of date ya.
Maybe the secret to beating Spirit is not letting
Kalau masih manual tuh masalahnya
so they can't learn anything.
mesti dokumentasinya nggak lengkap. Siapa sih yang buka dokumentasi kan? Terus testingnya juga kadang-kadang bolong-bolong. Terus juga males biasanya kan bikin kalau udah tiba-tiba tengah-tengah ada adjustment, testingnya mesti harus di-adjust juga jadi males. Ya kalau pakai AI enggak sekali, yang penting spesifikasinya jelas, kalau mau ada adjustment gampang dan jadi lebih cepat aja semuanya, lebih rapi, lebih cepat. Kayak kalau ngoding sendiri tuh misalnya bikin satu fitur tuh bisa around 3 hari, 2 hari gitu. 3 sampai 4 hari lah. Kalau pakai AI tuh bisa setengah hari jadi, 1 hari jadi. Pace-nya nggak akan kekejar kalau masih mau manual. Ngejar pace ya.
Lu di apa sekarang? Front end.
Oh, back end.
Pakai ini, berarti pakai cloud.
Iya, pakai cloud.
Toro didn't even have to come for this, as he is just completely free farming. Has the Manta, gonna go for the shard, get that demon zeal, and then if he stays true, will be the Orchid.
I love looking at Toro's quick five. You see what it says bottom right?
17.
Anak TC yang udah gue nyebut TC nggak apa-apa nih.
Gak apa-apa.
Front end.
Gue udah pernah ketemu sama Reon juga kok. Kenapa?
Nggak pernah.
Anak TC yang front end siapa? Tahu nggak?
TC front end. Wah, aku udah nggak tahu ya, udah lama nggak kenal apa, udah lama nggak kontak sama mereka kan. Kalau sorry dia kayak gak ada deh yang murni front end.
Joins the party this time. Ace in his Lycan form. Nisha gets off the coil onto one. It is a very important one in the Lina. Wishback coming out.
Oh, Linanya mati.
Nisha gets the kill onto Lara, looking for the hoof stomp. Nisha in the tree line gets stunned up. Do they have the damage? Do they have the control? It doesn't look like it.
Serem ini line up sebenarnya Liquid. Kalau udah bisa nangkep satu-satu.
Finally, Boxy will take a tumble, and now Tofu taking the right click damage. The avalanche coming out from Mickey with the toss to follow, but the hoof stomp is there, and now Mickey all alone, and Yatoro and company should be able to finish him off as these cogs just continue to rain upon
Over chase.
The bowling is out of control right now for Not Me. And they get the rocket flare.
Ini pernah nyoba nggak deadlock kalian?
Belum, kemarin udah di give padahal dari awal. Enggak tertarik masih.
Padahal bukannya kau suka
ya?
Kemarin sekarang udah jarang. Nggak pernah. Bukannya kau senang suka ini game shooter?
Mana ada anjing.
Lah, bukannya kau main Apex, main Halo enggak?
Enggak ada.
Salah inget buat
itu mah game buat hahi doang. Apa kan seru ya hahi.
Tapi tahu Deadlock itu game model apaan?
Apa?
Tapi tahu Deadlock
tahu
model game apa gitu.
Shooter, mobile shooter kan, nanti bisa beli item gitu-gitu.
Ini buat kan Iceberg juga itu. Yang develop.
Iya.
Sebenarnya seru ya menurutku. Learning curve-nya susah.
Apalagi di red 2 kali base gua anjing. What the fuck man? Baru juga nyampe gua. Di red mulu anjing. Lu nggak main power lang?
Dulu waktu awal-awal Palworld kan lu main kan?
Iya.
Yang sama anak-anak kan lu kan?
Benar.
Dulu emang nggak sama Rizal ya? Persen sama Rizal ya?
Sama Rizal?
Yang waktu kita dulu main rame-rame itu siapa aja ya lupa.
Sama Rizal.
Palworld yang 1.0 nggak main?
Enggak.
Kenapa?
Gak ada. Aduh. Waktunya sumpah.
Main ini aja, main single player tapi di settingan world settingnya di lu crank up, dinaikin biar nggak terlalu grinding heavy.
Bukannya game kayak Power tuh asiknya kalau memang main bareng-barengnya ya, malah main single player mah nggak seru.
Ya emang sih.
Makanya.
Kan bisa juga kalau misalnya lu punya server tapi settingannya dirubah. Kebanyakan bahkan emang lebih optimalnya malah justru bukan vanilla setting kalau menurutku. Terlalu grinding kalau vanilla. Kemarin aku sempat main. It's decent content.
Bushwhack being used. The bot tower is gone as well. Yeah, Orban the Dreamer gets the kill on the tier 1. Looks like he'll continue to dream. Stays alive, just barely.
Indopred berarti udah nggak ada ya?
Dan nasibnya Indopred selalu sama aja, 2 kali TI aja.
Tahun kemarin emang siapa? Ada yang masuk?
Enggak, kan 2 tahun yang lalu kan? 2 apa 3 ya yang mamaku di TI itu loh.
Si
Seper.
Seper. Emang baru
Iya
2
kan
tahun?
juga.
Mama aku di itu baru 2 tahun yang lalu. Persen
Kayaknya udah 2 tahun deh.
kayak gue udah feelingku malah kayak ngerasa udah lama banget itu mama aku di TI. Emang baru recent ya.
Kan apa namanya? Nasibnya juga sama itu. Dia kalah lagi udah pulang, udah nggak pernah menang di main stage. Ini juga gitu aja, nggak pernah menang di main stage. Kalah lagi.
So overall, it depends if you're looking at it through the scope of theory of what this game should look like.
Aurora malah kena kak anjir.
Placement paling tinggi orang Indo top berapa di TI emang? Aku nggak ingat, nggak pernah ngerti.
Ya ini top 8 ini. Paling tinggi top 8.
Aurora juga, itu Aurora aneh sih anjing. Padahal timnya dominasi tiba-tiba jadi goblok sih, Cok.
Ya apes, nggak bisa milih musuh soalnya. Habis musuhnya yang bisa dilawan.
Siapa sih ini tim Spirit ya?
Bad Boom.
Oh, Bad Boom juga sama anjing, tiba-tiba strong bangsat, nggak ada angin hujan anjing. Itu goblok banget sih anjing. Bad Boom juga aneh Cok menurutku sih. Tiba-tiba strong anjing, udah kayak pantau.
Bisa solo tormentor si Likan ini.
Mati kayak gitu aja WR ya.
Siapa sih? Itu juga dipulangin sama Bad Boom kan? One Wing
apa?
One Wing juga dipulangin sama Bad Boom kan?
Iya.
Di Whitemon.
Ya, dia enggak sih, bukan Bad Boom sih yang mulangin One Win.
Siapa yang mulangin? Bukan Bad Boom ya?
33 yang mulangin Bad. 33 player ke-6-nya Bad Boom semua. Agen anjir.
Itu kenapa aku nggak nonton?
Dia pakai ini posisinya udah lagi di atas.
Pakai Doom.
Memang si Bad Boom lagi dapat Aegis. Hapus Cyclone. Si 33 itu pakai Tidehunter, kayaknya tuh dia pengen Blink Revenge gitu loh, Jan. Nah, tapi kayaknya dia gak ngecek keserempet skill 2-nya Viper. Keserempet dikit. Jadinya gak ngeblink malah kena ludah mati, udah wes.
Revenge-nya kepake atau enggak? Revenge-nya kepake.
Revenge-nya gak kepake. Revenge-nya belum sempat kepake. Jadi dia refleksnya kaget langsung putar badan di ulti Viper copot matinya udah.
Aku kemarin grup stage nggak banyak nonton.
Mati konyol anjing.
Mana kemenangan yang kau janjikan 1000 tahun lalu? 3-3. Itu serigalanya Likan tuh juga agak kurang ajar anjir kalau udah jadi shark.
Tapi Likan tuh emang annoying sih anjing jujur. Likan tuh annoying banget sih. Apa ya, nyebelin hero-nya anjing. Jujur nyebelin hero-nya.
Shardnya Likan sekarang yang apa emang? Bukan yang nambah satu serigala lagi di lane.
Bukan, serigalamu dapat skill, Jan, dapat
skill yang ngerut.
Bukan.
Ngilang enggak sih?
Nambah damage sama face move. Ngilangnya level 4, ngilangnya
level 4.
Udah nggak ada yang ngerut tapi.
Enggak ada root.
Anjing ngerut tuh kayak apa? Kayak bir anjing.
Oh iya benar, tapi serigalanya nambah 1. Serigala nambah 1 terus dapat skill. Skillnya itu intinya dapat face boot, nge-evasion sama attack speed. Nah, udah. digigitin kayak orang gila.
Oh, kalau yang itu hampir sama kayak yang dulu sih. Aku ingatnya waktu aku banyak apa skill yang masih aku ingat tuh waktu masih ada ini, soalnya masih ada facet. Aku soalnya kan lama nggak main tuh. Ini baru main lagi. Oh nggak main jadi banyak yang infonya outdated gitu.
Ayo main Jan.
Malam nggak sih main Dota? Jangan siang atau sore. Kalau aku biasanya kalau main malam. Sekarang aku siang nggak bisa asli. Terlalu banyak ini. Nggak nyaman juga kalau main siang sama sore. Jam main lu siang kah sekarang?
Jam mainku kalau ada waktu main sih.
Aku biasanya malam. Kalau main pun lama aku nggak bisa ranked nih.
Kenapa?
Lah, aku nggak mau boosting lagi, nggak mau smurfing lagi.
Lah, kan main pakai akunmu yang asli nggak apa-apa.
Akunku immortal, nggak bisa.
Oh, berapa? 5.000 berapa?
Dan kemarin baru aku buka 6.200.
5.300?
6.200.
6.200? Anjay.
Halo Lang.
Hah?
Kalah lu.
Ya emang kalah, kocak ini orang. Gua kira masih 5.000. 6.000 ternyata ya udah.
Kemarin padahal aku berharap juga gitu kebuka rank rendah supaya bisa mabar sama orang lain. Enaknya Dota kayak gini kalau ranknya Imo nggak bisa main sama yang ini under define. Kecuali kalau itu smurfing.
Kasih Lang akun lu Lang. Kan lu ada 2 akun Lang anjing Lang.
Dia nggak mau smurfing, kocak.
That's very uncommon for him, by the way.
Yeah, he just tends to get those
3.000 berapa? 6.000 berapa Jan?
300.
little something the other way.
Ah, berarti ntar kalau udah 4.3 baru bisa.
Minimal defense 1. Kalau immortal itu dia
Defense itu 4.300.
nggak tahu. Pokoknya kalau
Kayaknya
immortal
Ancient 5 bisa deh itu.
nggak, kalau immortal emang masih kan ada ininya, ada rule ya. Immortal nggak bisa find match sama selain pokoknya minimal 1 sama divine gitu. Kalau nggak salah ya, dulu itu ada rule itu.
Udah nggak pakai selisih 2.000 ya kalau di situ.
Iya, kalau immortal emang khusus immortal aja gitu maksudnya. Khusus immortal tuh minimal gratis sama divine. Entah masih berlaku atau enggak. Kalau dulu kayak gitu sih.
Lu terakhir sebelum yang MMR deflation ini lu berapa Jan?
Akun yang ini berapa ya? 6,8 kalau nggak salah.
Oh cuma turun 500 berarti ya?
Emang turunnya pada jauh-jauh kah waktu MMR reward gitu?
Yang 10.000 itu jadi 7.000.
Ya kalau yang MMR tinggi ya. Soalnya kan memang inflated banget. Kalau yang MMR ini yang biasa, yang kayak Divine Ancient, dia nggak ada adjustmentnya.
Nggak ada, cuma di atas Immortal doang yang kena. Ya lu berharap apa anjir? MMR 2000 jadi apa? Jadi mythic ah?
Gue kira ada adjustmentnya juga. Nggak tahu kemarin gimana sistem adjustmentnya.
Hero jadi mythic ntar aja.
Oh, kena stun.
Lycan ult as well, I suppose, and the Moonlight Shadow. But yeah, Liquid biding their time.
Between those 3 abilities, the most important and the longest cooldown, of course, the non-ultimate ability, Metamorphosis.
That's right. It's effectively his ultimate, though.
Yeah, I would argue.
It used to be his ultimate, way back.
Very long ago, yeah.
We're old. He used to have a life drain ability. It was like a crappier version of Pugna Drain, and it did not require channeling. That was weird.
Yeah, well, he's had both. He had the version that Pugna has.
Mendukung para vision aku. Mendukung no one. Kasihan Jo. Lama banget dia.
Dia belum pernah Aegis ya?
Belum. Seingatku belum. Emang udah pernah belum kayak. Nomornya belum pernah sama sekali.
Oh ya belum pernah Aegis kan dia.
Ya makanya aku mendukung dia. Kalau Saksa kan udah.
Nah, aku benci Saksa aku.
Player-player yang udah sepuh, veteran yang belum kan. Itu no one. Wiha. Ame. Apalagi ya yang veteran yang belum dapat. Nah, ingat aku.
In your dream.
Lolo.
Lolo itu apa Jan? Lu gak suka kalau Indo pegang Aegis?
Bukan gitu. Bukannya kemarin baru bubar ya timnya itu? Aku ngecek di postingan Facebooknya si Dejet.
Mulutnya nih pedas banget.
Aku jujur udah nggak ngikutin perkembangan ini pro Indo, pro Dota Indo sini. Siapa aja yang masih itu, terus timnya di mana aja. Udah nggak ngikutin sama sekali.
Emang kan guyonanya ini, OG kan juga nggak menang sama sekali kan di group stage. OG kan saya sekarang.
Iya, Filipina.
Ya orang ngomong, anjing kalau gini aja mending yang maju reconnect juga bisa anjir, pertama kali pulang ke bandara sama aja.
Tapi saya tuh benar-benar ketinggalan banget anjing gua ngeliat tuh.
Iya udah.
Mulai benar-benar ketinggalan banget.
Ya, dari dulu aja udah nggak pernah juara.
Tapi dulu masih mending masih. Dulu masih presence-nya masih terasa yang full tim full nationality Southeast Asia kan. Thailand. Terus Filipina, Indo gitu, yang full gitu masih berasa dulu banget ya. Dulu itu sekarang udah beda lagi konteksnya. Kalau yang dulu buat itu masih berasa banget tuh. Kayak pure nationality itu. Satu nation. Sekarang kan kebanyakan yang dari Southeast Asia yang masih eksis kan yang udah ini mainnya di beda kontinen, yang udah kayak istilahnya ngeblend sama player nation lain. Kalau yang bener-bener pure satu negara gitu kayak udah nggak eksis. Southeast Asia. Si saya itu OG itu full Filipina ya?
Full Filipina. Full Rusia aja kayaknya udah nggak ada deh sekarang. Apa ada ya?
Ini tim Spirit siapa yang bukan CIS? Bad Boom bukan full Rusia juga.
Kita cek. Aku nggak full deh, nggak ada yang full deh.
And something we have not mentioned yet, but Toro as a Shadow Blade, of course, and when he gets this silver edge against both Lycan and Winra, I mean they cannot run away from.
Ini Bad Boom ada yang Moldova satu
dekade yang lalu. Dulu satu dekade.
4 Rusia, 1 Moldova.
Moldova itu negara mana?
Moldova, nggak tahu.
Moldo.
Spirit ada 1 Sweden. Ada 1 Ukraina. Anjing 4 Rusia 1 Ukraina. Aduh lucu banget gak sih? Lu bayangin gak sih? Setim sama orang yang lagi perang. Nih kalau lihat dari patternnya nih, yang masih pure satu negara itu ada 3 tim. tiga-tiganya gagal di group stage, udah jelas kan gak akan bisa Jan. Satu tim full satu negara kayak.
Apa? OG terus ini ya full China ya.
Si sama resiliency ya.
Ya sekarang emang Dota gitu. Udah nggak apa? Udah nggak pure. Kalau dulu kan enak banget tuh. NA full NA, C full C. Cina full Cina. Dulu kan klasik TI kan ini pattern menangnya kan ini Cina non Cina Cina non Cina gitu. Sekarang udah nggak ada kayak gitu.
Sekarang tim apa Dotanya?
Gak kasihan emang biarin aja layak anjing. Cina tuh kebanyakan satu booster satunya akan bayar anjir kima emang.
Itu tahun berapa ya aku lupa yang China server pada migrasi ke Southeast Asia.
2 tahun lalu.
2 tahun lalu.
Itu udah mulai toxic brengsek gitu. Benci banget sama Cina sekarang.
TB-nya mati. Oke, Liquid is doing it. Nobar back. Itu ngerubah banget ini sih quality si server semenjak itu. Berasa banget.
Asli. Masalahnya ya tadi Cina tuh beneran kayak duality banget. Kalau nggak booster ya yang beli akun udah.
Kalau aku lebih ke ininya, ke ngaruhnya ke aku sih nggak peduli ya kalau masalah jago atau enggak, ke masalah ke ininya, komunikasinya sama mentalitinya berasa banget kalau China player sama non China. Kalau kayak orang Filipina itu walaupun mungkin nggak ngomong Inggris, dia masih kadang-kadang masih bisa ngeblend lah kalau menurutku komunikasi, terus masih istilahnya ke arah apa ya, rasisme mungkin termasuknya. Kayak berasa kalau main sama orang China terus dia kayak toxic atau apa, itu kayak berasa ininya superiority-nya atau something gitu.
Sama ngambeknya juga jelek sih. Ngambeknya Cina jelek.
Tapi nggak semua Chinese player gitu juga sih, cuma banyak yang kayak gitu, jadinya di generalisasi.
Wah anjing ya. Semua Cina anjing ya. Oke, mampus gak ada yang lolos group stage, mampus.
Cina juga nggak ada generasi sih, by the way.
Iya, itu gara-gara law-nya juga sih, Chinese law. Emang
Cina nggak ada yang regenerasi sama sekali sih.
Kayaknya di Southeast Asia juga sama problemnya, dari generasi juga sekarang udah.
Ya, tapi seenggaknya
itu
udah mulai bagus.
Baru Rekones kan player baru semua itu, Jan.
Oh iya. Sekarang yang paling istilahnya apa ya, iconic itu siapa? Player Indo yang bukan player lama ya, kayak newcomer gitu, newcomer baru lagi ya, pokoknya newcomer yang termasuk rising star gitu. Player Indo siapa? Rising star player Indo sekarang siapa gitu? Nggak ada.
Ya setauku ya itu si Rekonet itu yang si siapa namanya? Supportnya itu yang satunya itu masih muda, itu supportnya bukan yang Faris.
Faris kan player lama.
Iya makanya satunya kan terus support Dalul. Nah itu Dalul tuh baru gak sih? Sama Jikro itu juga sebenarnya hitungannya baru dia.
Mereka kan udah termasuk sepuh juga nggak sih? Mereka kan awalnya dari stream, bukan awal sih, emang suka stream juga kan. Dalul Jikro masih itu kah yang tergolong newcomer? Belum ada yang nama-nama baru. Dulu yang player siapa ya? Tim apa ya yang MMR tinggi yang termasuk muda banget itu siapa? Sekarang nggak compete ya? Dulu waktu aku masih sering.
Kalau si skena Indo ya dan ya. itu lebih mending jadi streamer aja.
Iya memang.
Itu Rusman tuh dapat berapa M anjing deh dari anunya.
Emang udah nggak ada prospek buat pro Dota. Cuma dari dulu sih, kalau menurutku prospeknya tuh udah nggak ada untuk istilahnya grind. Bukan nggak ada juga sih, sebenarnya ada, cuma nggak seimbang risk and return. Orang kompetitif scene-nya aja yang lokal kan udah nggak disupport sama Valve-nya. Lokal turnamen udah. Kalau dulu kan masih banyak tuh turnamen di mall lah segala macam.
Nggak, Dota juga sebenarnya udah harus refresh sih.
Apa keluar Dota 3?
Iya.
Deadlock itu Dota 3 tuh Deadlock.
Dota udah perlu refresh sih. Udah waktunya, Cok. 15 tahun udah cukup lah anjing.
Cuma saya kalau Dota 3 pun mau ngapain anjir dia? Apa yang baru gitu?
Ya, do something, apa yang bisa mereka perbarui aja. Entah apapun itu aja, anything. What else can they do?
Terrorblade has that needs high ground, you have to somehow find a way of killing him twice or you're losing the entire game. So, not really many great itemization options aside from this.
And Yatoro is officially 6-slotted. So I would assume a consumed Ags would be next for him to get the fear.
Alhamdulillah ya Allah ya Rabbi.
Developernya udah nggak berani ambil resiko buat bikin big changes kayak. Soalnya kalau dia salah step bikin big change, player base hardcore-nya yang masih main sampai sekarang nggak suka, justru malah pada hilang. Dan buat narik chance buat nyedot player base baru itu nggak seimbang dengan resiko kehilangan player base lama.
Tapi mau gimana pun buat sekarang tuh Dota udah kayak hidup sama di tanah masalahnya. Atau nggak usah bikin Dota 3 deh. Mereka mau bikin apa, bikin itu aja apa, bikin kayak diperbarui sistemnya gitu atau apa yang lebih better. Soalnya sekarang tuh kayak bener-bener cuman kayak repeatable aja, eventnya repeatable, nggak ada apa-apa.
Ya paling itu introduce new event kayak dulu Aghanim Labyrinth lah, Dire.
Bahkan mereka aja pertama kali bikin apa namanya, bikin battle pass aja mereka nggak pakai lagi battle passnya kan, anjing ya. Padahal mereka pelopor battle pass anjing.
Itu aneh sih, tapi ya aku nggak paham sih itu kenapa battle passnya jadi nggak ada lagi tuh.
Iya, mereka pelopornya masalahnya. Kayak lu bikin sistem yang emang literally diikutin semua game, tapi betul tinggalin sistemnya. Ya, fine. What's wrong? Tahu tuh sistem udah bagus banget ya. Dan orang tuh nunggu buat apa, biar press pool-nya tuh pada gede, press pool TI-nya tuh. Maksudnya tuh kan kayak say thanks buat player lo yang stay yang di gamenya. Ini gue kasih hadiah nih, hadiah turnamen tahunan nih, segini hadiahnya gede banget. Ini dari crowdfunding. Atau pas bisa dinikmatin sama komunitas juga ya kan, itu aneh. Nah, itu agak aneh katanya. Agak aneh aja sih, emang aneh sih. Try to burst him down. The cart is coming. Doesn't have the BKB, but he's inside the cart now. They destroy the Mirana. They destroy the Ancient, and Spirit will move on. The international lower bracket, Liquid eliminated.
GG. Goodbye Liquid.
Probably the best series from Spirit so far that I've seen. Especially, I think the thing that's especially impressive to see is just how, on an individual level, everybody had like stellar moments in this game. And it wasn't even that long of a game. just so many.
Tofulul.
Pick any player in this game, and you can look at their POV and see 2 or 3 like super high skill plays that they pull off. I want to give a special shout out to Larl in this game. I was blown away by his timing on LSA.
Tofu kan dulu Tundra kan, singkat.
And it's a very, very good sign for Spirit because it means you don't necessarily have to have that insane pop-off performance from Yatoro, who had an insane lane this game, made a couple of slight hiccups along the way.
Kenapa dia?
Didn't matter. They still smashed it.
Depart.
Very quick win.
The last 2 champions are now out in Falcons and Liquid. Spirit, of course, 2-time winners will continue. I think that they are, the way that they look today, they can win the whole thing. Yeah, for sure. They are a huge threat. I would put them as a favorites with everybody that's currently in the lower bracket. I don't know.
Oh, bukan Tundra, Gaming Gladiator.
Completely out of control in this game on the Lina. I mean, Yatoro ends up with only 6
Oh iya, Gaming Gladiator.
He got the ball rolling to start. He got double kill to start the game, essentially, and there's no looking back. Other than that one little misstep, I suppose, where he gets killed off, and that gives Liquid an opening in the game, but it wasn't enough. The Spirit will take this series as we go to the stage for an interview.
观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎来到赛后采访。现在在我身边的是来自 Team Spirit 战队的 Collapse， 以及我们可爱的搭档主持 Sir Slack Action。Hey everybody, yes, absolutely. Collapse. So good to see you. In interviews earlier this year, you said that you were losing confidence. You had to take a break, and now on this stage, absolute MVP of that series, you just came back stronger. What motivates you? Collapse 在之前的采访里，你也说过，你曾经失去过一些信心，也休息了一段时间。是什么样的让你能够重新站上赛场，然后又重新发挥出这么好的表现
I mean, 5 hours of sleep. Like the only motivation, I just want to sleep now. Like need to end faster.
5个小时的睡眠就是我的诀窍。对我来说的话，我现在就是非常想睡觉，这也是为什么我一直想很快的去结束比赛。Okay, motivated by sleep. Did it feel like you were dreaming? I mean, you're on the main stage of TI. You see Tiny Lycan again. A lot of Chinese fans. Did it bring back any memories for you? 有没有想过，是不是现在其实是能醉了做梦的感觉，非常梦幻？因为你站在 TI 的舞台上，很多中国的粉丝们在欢呼，然后你的对手选到了狼人跟小小。
I mean, a lot of flashbacks, I would say. Only Magnus missing. Yeah. I don't know.
很多回忆涌入我的脑海中，不过我想的话，好像少了一个英雄叫做马格纳斯。Yeah, we don't say that word in here. That's not allowed. We don't say that. All right. Last question for you, Collapse. Now, you are one of the only people left in the building that can get the 3 Aegises. Your coach, Yatoro, it's up to you. And now, with that legacy in front of you, I want to know, how much would that mean to you? What would it mean to be the greatest Dota player of all time? 那现在的话，其实
Greatest Dota player of all time. That's a cap.
有机会能够3次举起不朽盾，所以想问一下，这对于你们、对于你个人以及团队来说意味着什么
It's a good question.
？Thanks.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't thought about it. Like, I just want to meet Prevision again. Team Vision.
Dang.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Like, with every series, we're just getting closer and closer to the win, victory.
好问题，其实我之前也没有想过那么多。不过对我们来说的话，我现在只想再次跟 Vision 去做一次对决，因为每一次被他们击败，我觉得我们的比赛内容都越来越接近了。Well, I want to hear it right now then. Vision, are you coming for him? Are you gonna beat him? Is this one gonna be different?
Yeah.
Hold on. 我想问一下，那如果真的能对上 Vision 的话，你们有信心吗？下一场比赛会更接近吗？你们能战胜对手吗？ Right in the camera. Come on, give it to him. Give it to him. Yeah, baby! Woo! 感谢 Collapse 接受我们的采访，我们把剩下的时间交给我们的分析。
That collapsed the undisputed MVP of this game we just witnessed, and it is Team Spirit that move forward through this lower bracket. And they do have a very long day potentially, as they will play in the final series of the day, and potentially for Team Spirit, the choice is, as we talked about earlier, the choice is maybe a little nap while their coach prepares for all the Dota 2. Of course, a lot to break down here with this series being done, and overall here, Rhea, we talked about the puck needing to carry it all, needing to set the pace and the tempo for Team Liquid. It just didn't happen.
How can it happen when we have the best hoodwink performance of all time going on in the bot lane? Yatoro is literally farming the enemy's Ancients at minute 9. He is pushing your mid tower down at minute 10. The calamity that occurred in this bot lane meant that Team Spirit had everything they needed to come mid and pressure this puck and shut down his game all around this hoodwink.
I mean, not only that, it's like when you entered the game, mid-game, sorry, Lal and Collapse were both just incredible with like their initiations, understanding how they're going to jump, who they're going to jump. When they're going for the puck as well, you had yours into LSAs from the Lina, and then when that was not maybe connecting, then Collapse was like, no, don't worry, I know where Nisha's going, and then he goes for the kill as well. So I just feel like Spirit, they had Liquid's number in this series, and they played so exceptionally well, and you can hear it from Collapse. They are improving series after series, and when you say that for a team like Spirit at the International, you have to be very afraid if you're to meet them in the next round.
Yeah, I think both games Liquid had the same problem with the offlane hero. I think game is a very good example of why Lycan isn't really popular anymore. I think before I came to the event, I thought like Lycan maybe would see a lot more play. But this game, it showed that why Lycan has not seen a lot of play. It's easily countered in the laning phase. It's a very good helm hero, but you generally don't get a good enough start, and you get bullied in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, maybe next to Collapse, we should also highlight another MVP in Rue that just was very instrumental, not just this game, but also the previous game where we did name him the MVP. He had a killer of a series. Maybe Tigav, he just performs a little better with less sleep.
Yeah, I'm trying to work this out. So, like, do you want your players to sleep now? Because when they play the next series, then they're going to have sleep and not be starved for it. So maybe you keep them awake, and then they play doubly better.
Because your brain goes into survival mode.
Yeah. So it's like, because like right now, so they'll be too comfortable for the next series.
I want them to sleep so they cannot fight me when I'm deciding the team strats, you know. They'll just wake up, this is what we're gonna do, okay, let's go.
Maybe not 5 hours, let's meet them in like 2.5 hours.
One REM cycle.
Yeah, there we go.
That's very clear, very specific. Of course, have to wait and see what the teams are going to do. It's up to them. It's up to maybe each player individually as well. I'm sure different players need different things. And there's one thing for certain, though, is that there's one team that does have all the time that they want to sleep, because elimination was on the line with this series, and it is Team Liquid that is eliminated with this one best of 3. They could not get a foot in the door. They did not get a win this series, and they go out. They go home here on top 6 at the International. And of course, for some final words about Team Liquid, we are going to head over to Boxy.
Yeah, thanks. I'm here with Boxy. Boxy, commiserations on the loss there. Not even Blitz doing push-ups was enough here. He said that your draft was a throwback to a draft that LGD pulled off against Spirit. Was that something you had agreed to? Was it part of the plan all along? How did that come about?
选完阵容，教练 Blitz 说有点梦回 TI 时 LGD 对战 Team Spirit， 这是你们意见一致的决定吗？
Throwback is in like going back in time to an old draft.
Who played this draft?
You guys did.
Before?
LGD.
I don't think we meant to like copy some old TI strategy. I think we looked at like the heroes we liked and we picked them. And in the end, we didn't play good enough, and we lost.
我觉得我们没有刻意去复刻任何之前 TI 的阵容，我们只是选了我们喜欢的喜欢的阵容，我们没有打好，其实这也是我们自己的问题。
It felt very unlucky for you guys to have to bump into a Spirit team at this stage in the tournament that seemed like they're sort of accelerating. Do you feel like this was just a team that was perhaps a little bit ahead of you in the meta and the playstyle of this tournament at the moment?
很不巧遇上了状态回升的 Team Spirit， 你觉得他们对 TI 的版本理解有着更深的理解吗？
I think game 1 maybe we didn't really like how the game like played out, because we had a hard time jumping and killing this Pango. I think game 2, I don't know, I died a lot. And they played well, but we also didn't really manage to like find a good flow and play aggressive. And I think like the game could have looked different if we managed to make some nice attacks and like get our tiny really fat with the Leica Max. So yeah, I mean they were the better team today.
第一把可能有点，第二把我也不知道。其实我觉得我们稍微状态好点，把自己打的阵容该打的打出来，可能小肥一点的话，我们是有机会的。我们没有打出我们该打的进攻。
And Boxy, obviously we've enjoyed watching you guys throughout the season and here at TI. You've got a lot of fans around the world supporting Liquid. Is there anything you'd like to say to them now that you guys are out of the tournament?
我们非常喜欢看你们比赛，然后也有很多支持你的粉丝。最后有没有什么想跟粉丝们说的？
Yeah, thank you so much for watching and supporting us. It's really like cool to be here at TI, and it wouldn't be the same with everyone cheering us on. We're a little bit disappointed in like how this series went. Obviously, our fans might be too, but we keep trying really hard and you know, stick with it. And for here in Shanghai, I think it was a really cool experience, and the crowd was really like energetic and loud. So I really missed being at a LAN with like a nice audience, and that was really cool. So thank you guys.
能站在这个舞台打比赛其实是很酷的，如果没有你们的话，现场就不一样了。我们很享受在 TI 的比赛，也非常感谢支持我们的所有粉丝。可能这一场的赛果不太如意，我们的粉丝也会有一点点失望，但是我们会继续努力，我们也会做到自己的最好。现场如果没有你们的话，真的很不一样。
It's all about the highs and the lows when you're competing, and for Team Liquid, they might feel like they're ending here at a low, but being top 6 at the International is still quite high, and we are going to live through a couple of the highs Team Spirit felt when playing this game number 2. That's the flip side of the coin, of course, because Team Spirit was having a great game, and all they are looking for is eyes on the prize, and they want to beat Team Vision next time they see them, maybe in the lower bracket, maybe in the grand finals. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But this game, a very cool game from them, as we're going to relive some moments. Winter, you want us to look at a fight that happened fairly early on, around the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, it was a very, very cool play. I think it was by the Clockwork. Like he managed to like kick his cogs twice and gets a kill on the puck. I think it starts off here. So it was a very, very long fight. They are defending their jungle in the safe lane. Lighten pops his ultimate. He's trying to invade with the puck coming in. I think he has a shield rune. And they were still somehow able to kill Nisha right at the end because the Clockwork made a very, very cool play. I think he was just constantly focusing on trying to bounce and burn Nisha.
It really was searching for the answer to the puck, which we thought was going to have a free game, but it didn't feel like a free puck game.
He had a free game at killing Clockwork. That was the main thing, right? Like he had one job, and that was to make not me feel as sad as possible.
Maybe this fight right here caused Nisha to be like, this puck.
That's my target, but no. I feel like, yeah, Nisha, he kind of did his job. It was more like the clutch moments, unfortunately, Liquid weren't able to capitalize on. There was a Roshan fight where Mickey doesn't get the toss on the Terrorblade, which allows for the Sunder to go off. There was a couple of fights where maybe the supports or Ace could have connected a little bit quicker. Like, everything was just going slightly wrong for Liquid, but that's because Spirit was playing so well at how they're progressing the map, moving around. They put so much, pressure onto Liquid that the mistakes started to form because of Spirit's formation.
Yeah, I think it just all started from the lanes, like the Hoodwing hero I think Bro just played a fantastic Hoodwing from the laning phase. He landed so many bushwhacks and just kind of made the game so difficult for Ace.
I need a new ideas to make a stream.
Again later today. Another elimination is going to come your way. We're going to have one best of 3 between Boom Boys and Enigma Galaxy, and this is a series that some of you might remember very well because last year at the International, the opening round of playoffs, these two teams went head-to-head. It was a 3-game series over distance, and it was Boom Boys that knocked down Enigma Galaxy that still managed to get top 6 through that lower bracket. So they're no stranger to this lower bracket, and I'm sure they're looking for revenge in this one. Also, on top of that, it is tomorrow, GPK's birthday. I'm sure he would like to play maybe some grand finals on the birthday.
I've no idea if anyone's going to step back.
Let your chat open adorable kawaii cat.
I don't remember ever
Mystery boxes.
wow, it's his birthday.
Happy birthday with TI. It's a nice present.
What?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe he likes to keep his birthday secret like people on the panel.
Yeah, good point.
GBK, incredible player. I think watching him and how he plays is beautiful. Look at his score line in all of these matches. Even during the losses, it's like
Wait,
one death
what?
and 3 deaths. And the 174 is of course an anomaly, but his vision, what can you do? They were very dominant in that game. In general, this guy is just so stable. His itemization is so solid. Like in his Viper game, he had so much impact without even having to buy like the boost of travel. Like every mid hero feels so mobile in this meta right now, and join every single fight. But he was doing it on Viper without that additional help. So this is a guy who has tried his hand at TI many times now, and I think it could be their year. I really think Boomboy's innovation in their drafting is something that can give them an edge over other people if they can just remain consistent in their gameplay.
Yeah, the consistency has been seen throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, there are teams that on
bisa
paper, the
set.
individual players' names are some of the highest from the region and even internationally. I think they're one of the few teams that they need their drafts to go correctly, and then they'll be able to outplay anyone. But if the draft is slightly wrong or there's some little things going slightly different, I think sometimes they crumble a little bit. But I honestly feel like right now in their form, the way that they fix themselves against Ironwing, they are to be potentially matching Spirit in their energy.
Ya Allah, Jakarta panas banget anjing.
Their road so far at the
Jakarta sama Surabaya udah ini. Udah pernah hujan belum? Air-air ini.
they did manage to take a game off of them, and they have
Goblok emang Jakarta nih.
also a 3-game series
Masih
against
akhir-akhir aja.
Ironwing. This series is proving to be an exceptional.
Kapan terakhir hujan?
But first, we need a team.
Hujan kayak 2-3 lalu. Cuman kayak doang. Literally cuma 2-3 hari lalu, habis itu kayak hujan, and then berhenti. Habis itu udah like nothing, like nggak ada apa-apa gitu.
Hujan gerimis doang.
Hujan literally hujan, beneran hujan.
Di sini malah belum pernah hujan sama sekali Jawa Tengah.
Tapi hujannya cuma bentar doang, kayak cuma basahin jalan, terus udah kayak berhenti. Itu udah nggak pernah hujan lagi. Kontol. Sebel banget gue anjing.
Di tempatku aku bahkan nggak inget kapan terakhir kali hujan. Nggak pernah hujan.
Nyebelin banget anjing, sumpah. For real.
This morning, it is none other than Boom Boys, the team that they will face in a second. So good throughout the entire year, consistent top placements, and they managed to get their time and time again. Their main struggle is breaching that top 3, breaching that top 2, and making it all the way to the grand finals. Will this be their year is a question we are going to have answered maybe within this very best of 3 series. Their opponents, as mentioned, Nigma Galaxy, they also have long series. They also seem to be very fond of having these long games and long series with 3 gamers on the board, and it is quite surprising to see these two go head-to-head at this stage of the tournament. For Boom Boys, as said, maybe not so surprising for them as we are expecting it from them, but for Nigma Galaxy showing up here at this international and delivering the way they have, Digov, that was not in the cards. Anybody that did their die-hard prep to see how Nigma Galaxy would do before the group stages, they would not have had this.
No, it's like a fever dream, honestly. So since last TI and their incredible placement, they of course had roster shuffles and absence from a lot of tournaments. They played 12 qualifiers, only winning 4. Their best placement in the season was only 5th to 8th when it's kind of a tied position. Their average position in Tier 1 tournaments that they did get to was in the bottom half of the tournament. And then it's just like exceptional to think that then they get to this TI, and now they're here. It's like, again, and also the Dota that they're playing in the upper bracket, the IO saves, the Storm Lotuses, the Enigma Black Holes, the clutch play from everyone, Sumo jumping around on Necrophos like he doesn't care. Like, they are playing some incredible Dota as if like they were meant to be at every Tier 1 event. They should have been at top 6 in every event, but again, the year, it wasn't like that. They're playing good Dota right now, and that's all that matters.
So what's the secret sauce? Is there secret sauce, Rhea?
I think it's the shuffling of players around 1,000 times and playing musical chairs, and now they found what fits. You have like this beautiful clutch factor from Lorinov on the mid lane. I think everyone's had their eyes on him. You know, he's playing his Nature's Prophet, especially is a sight to behold. I also believe that GH is also playing things like the IO support, right? Everyone's kind of transitioned that to a core, but you still have this team playing things like Dazzle and IO, which give them a different angle to the current meta that seems to be throwing some people off. Simultaneously, you just have the king.
The king, Winter. Sumail, you wanted to have some extra eyeballs on him, as if he doesn't have enough.
Yeah, I think he is one of the key reasons why the team is doing really well. Like, he's been part of the team for a long time, but I think in this iteration, they finally figure out how to use him, because the safe lane feels more like his old style of playing mid. The Sumail, when he was really at his peak form, he was a lane dominator, and now the safe lane heroes, they dominate the off laners, and some of the safe lane carry heroes like the Tiny, the Shadowfin, they are heroes that very fit his style very well. You win your lane, you run around the map, you kill heroes, and you can play very aggressive, and a lot of the mid heroes at the moment are kind of like heroes that he doesn't really like to play. The style doesn't fit him, so the safe lane is where Sumail is very comfortable at the moment.
And it also just complements the idea that when you look at Enigma Galaxy Draft, right, there's always layering of tankiness or survivability across all the heroes. Like, you've got the Undlob with a Dazzle, and then Clock and Alp, and then you've got in other drafts, like, Largo is buffing up with Mirana's. Like, there's always little ways, and of course, the epic IO Storm game that we saw in Game 1 yesterday, that I still is fresh in my mind. But, like, all of their drafts have these layers of, we're going to take a fight, we'll kite back, and we'll outplay you at some point because we have one spell or one piece of utility that you don't have. And I'm really excited to see what Nick will draft today, because that is an aspect that maybe not other teams will lean on every single draft. But every draft that Nigma brings, they have some cool little team fight outplay mechanic, and it's not always, I have a stun. It's other ways that you can win team fights.
Like black holes!
And other things.
Like bigger black holes!
Okay, they only had one, and they won. So
And
maybe
it looks epic!
So they need 2 today.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, Divine Llama is really clutched up in that match. Like, this player, I think, has received a lot of criticism, you know, due to fluctuating results over time, but honestly, I feel like this guy always just manages to claw his way up to these beautiful performances in the end. We should put more stock in him.
Yeah, I think he is maturing, I think, over the years of playing. I think when he started out his career in previous TIs, he kind of choked under the pressure, let's just be honest. He didn't perform to the stage. And I think at least yesterday, he kind of proved to people that with time and not giving up and consistently trying at the things that you love, you will be able to achieve what you want. And I think Divine is a good testament to that no matter what happens in his previous parts of his career, today or yesterday, he is able to perform and hit a level where he's playing with the team and pushing the team forward.
Yeah, he's also changed a lot, I think, in the last 2 years. Like, previously, I would see him as a player that he needs a lot of priority. He's a polarizing player, so you need to dedicate the draft, like some resource from the support in early game for him. But in his time in Enigma recently, I think he's shifted to more of a team player. He doesn't really mind, oh, my team is sacrificing me, they're helping Lorinov because Lorinov is more important in the draft. It's fine, you know. I think before he couldn't really do that. Whenever he gets sacked, he just doesn't really know how to come back into the game. But right now, he knows how to come back into the game.
Yeah, it's also something trivial where, like, during the game, like when he gets killed, right? And I've cast him a million times throughout his entire career, and it's like every death he'd have some like massive emotion, or he'd slam his desk, or he'd go like, you know, like, and he would do it. It's because he loves the game so much, but that level of emotion in the game, it's honestly like at a detriment to your performance. And then at least yesterday, like, he's doing the okay sign with the black holes.
Very mild.
Yeah, very mild. Like, he's reacting, but it's not to the, like, where his teammates are going to be looking at him like, bro, chill. the game is fine. Like, I think he's shown that he's calmed down immensely, and that makes a great player. Because like, as much as we love the energy and showing character, Dota is so complex, so complicated that like 5 seconds, 2 seconds where you turn off your brain and show some like other emotion, you'll forget what's happening in front of you, and it has hurt Divide multiple times in his previous games. So I think, yeah, maturity is clearly the big indicator for Divide in this
Yeah,
TI.
maybe the most mature person on the side of Enigma Galaxy. I'm not going to say Samil, guys. I want to talk about Kuroki because historically, Kuroki, obviously great player when he was playing, and then at some point he fell a little off. But every LAN he showed up to did really great, and I think that is something that, as a coach, this is his first international as a coach, he is able to instill those vibes onto his team, and I think that's super impressive.
No, 100%. And I believe I've seen some like behind-the-scenes footage from Nigma as well, where RMN, the old coach of Nigma, is also now back here as well at TI.
Yeah.
So you kind of have like Kuroki plus RMN both in the mix to try and make this run happen.
We're gonna see if the miracle run will happen with Boom Boys taking on Nigma on the stage here in Shanghai. Only one team will survive in this best of 3.
Nigma Galaxy versus Boom Boys. Game 1.
For this first game, we're gonna have Boom Boys on the Radiant side, Nigma Galaxy on the Dire side. The first pick goes the way of Nigma Galaxy. The overall last pick, therefore, goes the way of Boom Boys. We got a couple of bans on the board already, starting nice and even. And there's one hero we haven't really touched upon too much. Well, we talked about GH playing it yesterday, but something everybody should be aware of is that the IO that I'm hinting at is also very much a hero that Boom Boys likes, especially in the hands of Kiritich, Rhea.
Indeed, the Kiritich IO. I think this hero goes really unpunished most of the time when I see it played. I think the way teams have kind of tackled it instead is sort of addressing the rest of the team and trying to shut that down and gain more of a map advantage, so IO doesn't really get the chances to relocate in. Because at least when we covered the games with IO before, it felt like they weren't like blocking the camps or evading his like farming spaces. IO was being allowed to get items, and hero is terrifying in the late game if he gets there. But it seems like teams have other ideas of how to shut it down.
Yeah, but it does feel like if you're in Boom Boy shoe, you want it to be in the pool. Because if Nigma picks it, it's going to be a support, and I feel like the support IO is just not really a big deal.
Did you watch Game 1
yesterday?
Were you asleep?
You know what? No, you know what the team heard this? Like, Winter, we're gonna prove you wrong. Goodbye.
They proved it wrong yesterday.
They'll do it again here. But I must admit, this Winter Wyvern is popping up left, right, and center. This is also a hero that was used to great success against Nigma Galaxy by Yandex in the 2 games that Yandex won yesterday.
Guys, all I'm just saying is a support IO is more beatable than a core IO. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. Sure. That's a spin. All right.
I mean, if
You're media trained.
if we do want to be a little bit going towards that, it's not like Nigma were in a good position in that Yandex game. It went to 1 hour and 14 minutes, and it had to be a really heavy comeback that relied on multi-hero black holes. The IO is nice, but I
no, sorry.
But I do agree. I think IO is weaker as a support, and I've much preferred Wyvern throughout this tournament. I think in terms of like healing and then just other utility,
+1.
Yeah, Wyvern is fantastic. If I had this trade, I would be happier as Boom Boys.
That's fair enough. The stats are very much there to back you up with that as well. As we are done with our first phase of picks, so there's only 1 ban left for Boom Boys in the second ban phase, and they only get the 1. So maybe here you want to remove one strong pairing you don't want to see with that IO, or potentially you want to remove something else from the pool that will counter something you're planning on picking. They'll go for the Necrophos, which is probably both a strong combo with the IO and maybe something they just don't want to face.
Oh my god, Ember is still in the pool.
Yes, he is.
Also for like Nigma, because they do play the support IO, the combinations you have to think about are the divide pairings. Like, does he want to play an Axe or a Slada, or something to utilize the IO to chase down the lane to apply a lot of pressure to Kiritich? A player that has been having incredible net worth in any game that he plays. So I am looking towards Kiritich to maybe protect him a little bit, just because of the pressure that is inevitable in the laning phase.
I mean, I like the idea here from Boom Boys. Against the IO, you don't really want to split up and play the map because he ganks you. So you want to set up in a way where you are strong as 5. So with Willow and Wyvern, you have very, very big team fight. And it's going to mean that most of the time you'll be easily gathering as 5 and you push down towers. And that's the type of game you want to play against IO.
And so if you see Relocate, it's like I put Bramble down, I put Terrorize down, I put Curse. Like, you never want to make any move if you know the supports are there. Yeah, very, very good response to IO.
I mean, usually the counters to Wyvern and Willow are like heroes like the slippery mid heroes, like the Parks. I think you guys mentioned about Ember still in the pool. Yeah, so those heroes are going to be very, very good selection here for Nigma Galaxy against the Wyvern and Willow.
They'll get the combination of the Mirana and the Centaur on their side.
They didn't want to reveal too much because they only see 2 supports. It's very difficult in a draft to then try and pick anything too flashy on mid or carry.
At the same time, I think whenever I'm drafting, when my opponents pick 2 supports, I generally feel like the counters to supports are usually the mid heroes. I would want to pick a mid hero that's really good against their heroes.
So you close the phase here. So do you really want to give GPK suddenly draft value, where it's like normally you force GPK to reveal his hero, then you counter it. Like, it feels like you're giving a bit too much. So Devi's happy to sacrifice himself in this position.
Yeah, he's the person that is probably the best person to sacrifice among the 3 cores here in Nigma. Usually, I would say that their mid pick gets a lot of protection, for Lorenov.
No, for sure.
We get treated to the Miero Axe on the side of Boom Boys.
Yeah, again, the hero kind of speaks for itself. We've been seeing it utilized with Wyvern, with Willow just throughout the entirety of TI. For a curse, you then have the call to layer up. So not only do you have the curse duration, you then get, cool, it's awful, plus Dark Willow, the laning phase with the Bramble spam, the Shadow Realm spam, the Battle Hunger spam. It's just really, really oppressive. So I kind of like the aggression from Boom Boys. It's kind of like pressure through the lane, through the off lane. Wyvern will protect any carry, and then you'll stabilize the game to have to do what your cores present themselves.
I think it also pushes their tempo slightly faster than Nigma, right? Because I don't remember the last time I saw a Centaur get like a second item blink. It feels like every game they want to buy like a Lotus against your Willow, or they want to buy a Heart to tank up more, or they want to buy the Axe for their ranged core. With Axe, I imagine we'll just see one item into a blink, and then they can start making plays with the Willow, with this Infest bomb, and just move a lot faster.
Yeah,
panas banget.
Compared to Centaur, you don't really need to farm as much. You especially enable your support, so you can run around with them. You have a BKB piercing disable, and you're very strong in the lane. So it puts a lot of pressure onto the opposing team. And I would say that for Nigma, they most of the time would really prioritize Sumail getting a good lane. So I think this Axe Willow, like just picking a strong lane by default, you don't know what hero he's gonna play, but just picking a strong lane so ensure that he's gonna get pressured is a nice way to approach Nigma.
And that's where like the Axe is like, it kind of stops the Clink's pick, the Wind Ranger pick, the Nature's Prophet pick, right? Some of the big ranged heroes that Sumail's been leaning on, and then when you look towards like the melee options, you don't really want to pick them into like the Lifestealer, like he's playing some Sven or whatever. Okay. Lorenov mid Husker?
Yeah. Okay. One of the reasons I was like, oh, they haven't picked Ember still, was because I thought, oh, I wonder if someone wants to Huskar the other team as soon as they take the Ember.
But why do they need to pick it here?
This is where they can protect it with 2 bans.
Yeah, but I feel like if they wanted the Huskar, it doesn't really indicate they were going to go for the Huskar with the picks they have. And probably they would be able to get Sumail his hero and still get the Huskar at the end.
Yeah.
But right now,
there's nothing that's exactly. There's nothing screaming Huskar.
Right now, you could probably say that the chances of Sumail getting what he wants is significantly lower because you see the 4 heroes and they kind of tell you that Sumail wants like some kind of like I would say like melee hero, another frontline hero, and they are going to get banned. 2 of them are going to get banned.
What if this is his IO debut?
Ah,
sure.
I I
don't think
like
we shouldn't count it out.
No, yeah, I'd like to see that option because again, the Huskar just feels like you're picking it to go to GPK. We don't have enough bans for your heroes because we've looked at other options. Therefore, we're picking this just to shut you down, and we just want to stop your hero pool from excelling, right? So I feel like it's more maybe like a draft pick rather than it's perfect.
Third hero because they are assuming that okay, we have 2 bans, we can ban 2 heroes that can play against Huskar. So it's probably what Sniper and Viper.
Yeah, so
they are saying that there's no third hero for GPK.
No, but it's more like they didn't want to think about pucks and the storms and the embers, right? Because like those 3 are very scary in the game. So if you pick a generic sumo hero here, you ban 2, then they're gonna get one of the other big playmakers. Maybe that was the fear.
I guess, but I think there is a third hero. I think Wind Ranger can be a mid hero against Huskar. It'll be
For
okay.
sure.
All this is being talked about right now by Boom Boys. They took so long for their first ban in the series. They go still for the banning out of a Samil hero in the Alchemist.
The melee hero that would enable the IO here. I don't know if there's maybe Tiny would
into the.
But it's bad against lifesteal.
Yeah, but good into Axe, but bad into lifesteal. Yeah.
There's no one nice pick they can get.
Do you not think they can just pick some overwhelming physical damage like SF and then just rely on Centaur, Cart, and Io to be able to survive them through the call?
Yeah, they could. They definitely could. But the lineup is very wonky.
Yeah,
you have SF and you have Huskar and Centaur. And it's going to force the Centaur to buy a very early dagger to play with the team because no one else can.
Do you not just want to not buy a dagger and just like ball up with like your minus or armor auras?
But you gotta be able to kill heroes to progress on the map, and they don't really have a way. If the Centaur doesn't have dagger and you have SF, Huskar, and Centaur, it's very hard for them to get kills on the map.
I see. Do you think it's that important versus, for example, just like smoking, clearing out an area by like walking and pushing them out and then taking like Roshan and then just using the Aegis?
Yeah, it's important to kill heroes because if you don't kill heroes, it means the map will not progress. They're going to be pushing the waves against you and you have to go back to deal with the waves. But if you push the wave and you pick them off, and then that creates opportunities for you to then go for the Roshan or get the objectives. So I would say it's very important to have a very simple way to just kill heroes on the map.
Didn't people used to buy Blink on Huskar?
Yeah, they do.
They do.
I'm looking towards like, I mean, he's not really played it since like 2022, but like a Doom or something like this for Sumo. It's like into the lifesteal, into the Wyvern, you don't care, but they go for the Wind Ranger. And
so fast.
Boom Boys don't even care, just locking in the Shadow Fiend.
Is that a mid Shadow Fiend?
Yep,
It
is.
Woof.
Taking a step back into the path.
I guess Nigma was thinking maybe the Wind was also a counter to the Huskar, so they banned the Viper, they banned the Sniper.
Yeah, and they take the Wind.
So how does Shadow Fiend versus Huskar do? Because it's been a long time.
Yeah,
some years.
Well, I think it does really well. You are one of those heroes that can actually play in the lane and can kill him. It's not a common lane, but I do feel like there's a lot of potential here, and you have to. The downside is you have to be careful of getting ganked because SF is very susceptible to ganks in the mid lane.
I'm also pretty. I mean, as much as Shadow Fiend's gonna have raise to clear the waves, there's also a world that Huskar gets good lane position, gets like level 3 Burning Spear, 2 points in Burning Spear, and holds like a decent time when he's like playing around the raise cooldown. So I think Huskar honestly can also just win the lane if GPK overplays himself or does something weird or there's some gank. But the snap picks at the end, very interesting.
Very volatile lane for sure. This is going to be a very spicy mid lane here. I expect a lot of kills happening in the lane.
And a lot of people rotate in there for mid on the support duo. How mobile in the early stage of the game is an IO?
I think it's reasonably easy, right? Because you can just TP from any position and then your tether just brings you right into it.
Yeah, it just depends on how the lanes go, right? Because if Sumail's under a lot of pressure from the Axe and the Willow, you can't really allow the IO to make any move, and if Omar's having to pull waves for Divide or something because Lifesteal is chasing him down, then everyone's gonna be locked into the side lane battle, whilst also there's a Huskar Shadow Fiend situation. So yeah, the lanes in this game are gonna be incredible. But Boom Boys, when they win games, it's because they are one of the best laning teams in the world, and I feel like they have the type of setup to be really obnoxious to then come and help the Shadow Fiend and amplify him in some way.
Yeah, if you look at the 3 heroes against 3 heroes, Io, Mirana, and Huskar, like how are they gonna land the arrow and compare that to the SF, Dark Willow, and Wyvern? That looks a lot more scarier.
It's looking scary, looking entertaining from our perspective. I think we're going to have quite the treat here, especially if it's going to be as active as my panel makes it out to be. Back and forth in the early stage of the game, we'll see how that transitions into the mid-game and then who comes out on top. But before we see all of that played out, we are going to hear from Kuroky, who's with Slags.
Thank you so much. Yes, we are here with Kuroky. Kuroky, is such a pleasure to see you guys in this tournament, still kicking so
Huwag
much
ka lang.
ass. Are you proud of
Nikma
the boys so
menang
far?
roll Discord natin di RT.
Right.
Discord. Discord tuh udah gak pernah aku urusin ya.
I mean, we have Husker mid against SF, so that's spicy.
Spicy? I need more than spicy. Do you guys think that
This Discord is a dead Discord. Gak pernah dipakai.
GPK could screw it up.
I have confidence in Norma.
All right, good to hear. Is there any particular player that needs to do well in this game to get you guys a victory, or is this a team effort here?
Well, at this level, everyone just needs to do well.
All right, did you say anything to the boys before coming here today? You have been under this stress. You have seen this before, and a lot of guys in that booth have, but some of them are new to it. Any famous Kuro speeches?
I mean, mainly to keep their calm.
Keep your calm, carry on. There's no more calmer man than you, my friend. Thank you so much. We hope to have a fantastic match as we throw to our casters.
Thank you so much, Slacks. Indeed, a man of few words, but a lot of ideas.
Voice chat di mana? Di channel teman. Channel teman kuliah.
Trading some blows there already, it would seem. Yes. Yeah, keeping it a little bit low key, you know. He left it all in the booth right there, okay? He came out very early as well, I'll say. Wolf was still in there. He's talking a lot to the team, pacing back and forth, describing, you know, what was going to happen. Kuro, he just gave them the, all right, guys, relax. I'm heading out there. You guys got this. So he's putting a lot of faith here in this Huskar pickup. And talk about faith, sending GPK on the Shadow Fiend in versus the Huskar.
That's pretty crazy, yeah. I mean, everybody has said it's going to be a little bit spicy. It's going to be interesting to watch what happens. We'll see how it plays out, but this is definitely going to be one of the lanes to watch, the main one, I would say. A little bit of a missed raise there. But it's important, too, right, to sort of reiterate. This is what these teams have been working for this entire year. Both of these squads have been hungry for a victory. Boom Boys have been here so many times. Top 4 was their feeling last year, trying to push it further forward. And, I mean, for Enigma Galaxy, it's been years in the making for this squad.
Yeah, we live our lives by TI in Dota. That's how it goes. You base your whole roster, your seasons, your identity of how you perform there. And last year, both of these teams were in this situation. They're coming in to this point in the lower bracket. Boom Boys, they got the win last year. Enigma, they did not. They weren't able to progress any further than top 6. So, yeah, that is the question. Who has got it here today? A very late night, it's worth noting, for Enigma Galaxy as well. I think that, you know, coming into the series, you're sure you're feeling that on their side. Unfortunate way to go out. Like, despite losing that series, they did have some incredible plays, which certainly showed their potential. So I hope that they bring that in here today.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll be completely honest, I fell asleep after game 1 since we were ready for the earlier games of the day, but we did get to see some of that earlier on as well. And an amazing game number 1 it was indeed. Cold Embrace now onto Kiritich. Devi trying to stay aggressive onto the life stealer. They fight off more than he can shoot. No. Devi draws first blood.
Very favorable trade there for Devi. You really don't want to go down on that one. Ended up handing that over to the life. I mean, Kataomi, he is the Wyvern OG. You're seeing lots of teams just last series. First overall pick with this Wyvern. People are really seeing the value that it has here, particularly in that laning stage, and of course, whenever you're considering up against these IOs. Even more so in this matchup, since Enigma are one of the few teams that play at support, but you saw why last night. GH, incredible relocate plays to give them opportunities in those team fights that just should not have been.
No, absolutely. And, you know, GH, you go back to, like, their original Liquid days when he was playing and he first came onto the scene. It was GH, IO, GH, Coddle, these types of heroes that were difference makers. And he came in and won his first tournament off the back of his Star Ladder Series 3, if I remember correctly, way back in the Elden days. Devi, though, to get chased down, goes to the double edge. He's going to bring Kiritich low. Omar trying to clean it up. That Cold Embrace, pesky. Omar have enough damage to kill him on the end of it. Doesn't quite, well, he's going for it. The leap, he's healing, but it's not going to be enough to get Kiritich away alive. And, well, now Omar tries to ring around the Rosie. Not going to happen. Katomi cleans up.
Needs another moment there. Got some regen delivered by the courier, but it wasn't going to be enough, so he'll go down. Take the return of his health and mana with that death. He'll be all right with it. And, lots of action on these side lanes in terms of the mid. What has been happening? GPK bullying a bit here with these raises. Obviously, you guys have seen plenty of matches
Saldo itu dia YouTube plus TikTok, tapi ya bukan Twitch plus TikTok. Gimana dong?
To deal with the wave, of course, with the raises, and if you're not careful, you might get caught inside of them as well.
Yeah, one of those lanes where Lorenov has to pick his moment very carefully, right? If he goes all in, it has to be a kill because there's no running from SF. Especially if you use like the middle raise and then have that third one queued up.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, we have Nero just farming the polywalks. He's in, grabbing the bounty runes, waiting for the waves. He has kind of just quit on the lane at this point. The IO, maybe just too much sustained regen, and couldn't find anything beneficial. TP's back home.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see. Axe still, a lot of CS, at the very least, this wave is pushing in a bit.
Yeah, those are neutrals, though. He's relatively low. I mean, not too. I mean, he's the same as the Sentinel.
Yeah, Devi also having to take out after the pressure was on him, but now nowhere to go as they bring in a third hero. It seems that Boom Boys also recognize Devi as the game changer for this squad, but barely getting away from him there. Do they have anything else to finish him off? They're trying to dive underneath the tower, but they won't quite get the kill on the Centaur.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as the death, to be honest, though.
You're not wrong.
Like, what is there to do? He kind of just has to run home anyway. How did that? Oh, okay. I thought that small for a second. He's got to run back to his camp, farm it up a little bit, and then retreat back home anyway. So Omar takes the opportunity to get some wards down. He's going to TP up top now. So trying to mirror some of this pressure that came up from the Willow, GH is farming a hard camp stack right now. They surround him.
Yep, they find him, and that axe, nowhere to go now, does manage to at least clean up the creeps before he goes down dead to GH.
Right, so interesting dynamics. We have a Huskar rotating for a kill because he's losing his mid lane.
Yeah.
Not what you tend to see. GBK standing tall with this catapult. The Mirana's not here to arrow it. Omar's getting in here now. Will they tank the arrow? Yeah, you can see. Saves positioning. He knows. He's watching out for it. They get the next wave in.
Goes into the root. The heal is there, though, from GH. And off, able to back away. Omar, now the hit. The good shackle latch and the kill onto Katomi. Omar does not have that much left in the tank, though. The double raise does some damage as Sumail makes that movement in. They're going to stop any extra aggression.
Nama channel temennya. This is a private channel. Bukan server Discordku, jadi nggak bisa invite orang.
I feel like they kind of had it all figured out, but this SF was a great call.
And Devi continues to be hounded on this bottom lane. Kiritin, the slow coming from the Wyvern, and the Life Stealer manages to find that kill. This is right about that 7-minute mark, too. We'll see if Boom Boys decide to contest for the Wisdom Shrine, or if they're going to leave that one and just focus on the farm. Arrow also trying to play a little bit of catch-up on this axe after getting killed with the Huskar rotation.
That could have been an opportunity, but they were even ready to cover it. Omar did TP over to the Wisdom just in case, knowing that Centaur would not be there in time, or else he'd have to waste his TP. Make sure it's there. Katomi did not try and sneak it. And we're likely to see some stacks beginning to form here for both teams, I would think.
Absolutely. Way that you can play catch-up for these off-laners. And, you know, I think another thing to sort of mention with these two teams in terms of their road to this point in time, Boom Boys were basically invited to a lot of different events this year. They only had to play in 3 qualifiers. On the other side, Nigma Galaxy, they played in 10 different qualifiers to be able to make it here in this point in time, and have really been tested over and over again. We'll see how that type of resiliency is going to be able to make them push forward in this tournament. But, you know, very different paths, even though there were similar results last year in terms of the international.
Yeah, and they were playing in like the hardest qualifier. They had to go to Europe and play in them, so Nero now rotates in from Lorenov.
Shackle latches, good damage out from the power shot. And another kill for the Huskar.
Desperately needed. He is catching back up at GBK. You know, not typically the way you see a Huskar recover, but he is finding it with these kills. GBK, he's rotating back. He's under this ward that was placed from Omar earlier, but at what point will you actually be able to utilize this vision?
Found again. Pump fakes the hook stomp. Trying to keep himself alive. Will back away some more. And they decide not to chase any further. But I mean, it's just been so much damage. Relentless. Onto Devi, trying to shut him down. I mean, thankfully, at least for the side of Nigma, they've been able to keep the axe pretty much as hamper.
Look at the scan, though. Seeing if anyone else is nearby trying to help him, they just bring in GBK.
Mar immediately leaps out, realizing this is not going to be good. Boom Boys, they bring numbers, trying to take this early tier 1 tower and continue to just pull the Centaur around the map.
What a weakness they found, right? Centaur's very close to 6. He's at 5.5. GH had no health or mana on this IO right now as he was kind of moving through the jungle, so he can't do any sort of a play down here. So even though Omar was down here trying to like dissuade them from making this push, they kind of get this tower for free.
Dave, hunting Omar, did have ward down to spot that movement and going to be able to find pick off onto that courier. Save, hit by GH, who has been quietly having a pretty good game with some solid rotations.
Omar sort of finding something on the Mirana here by stealing XP away from GPK and just stalking him through the jungle. This is the best he can do right now. Friends are coming in though, they're going to try and set this up. Will this ward finally pay off?
Oh, understanding what was going on.
And there's a sentry down bottom that sees Devi as well.
Yeah, and that might be the difference.
Yeah, off sentry combo gave away the Moonlight Shadow. Now they instantly turn on Devi. He's forced to TP. My guy is still level 5, Lear.
That feels really bad. I mean, so this is going to be the nice counter move that you can make, though, at least for Enigma Galaxy. We'll see if Boom Boys leave them to it, but the pressure is now coming in onto this tier 1 tower in mid.
Yeah, the Willow being dead definitely hurts. No threat of just the opener Bramble. They hit an arrow in the back of the GPK plus a blood grenade, but no one's willing to make the dive with them. Omar kind of had something there. Lorenov's just laser focused on this tower.
Well, that is going to be a TP away, but yeah, Lorenov gets good damage. They rotate and save, and that stops the pressure onto the tower. Did force some rotations at the very least, and you get out alive on the Mirana.
Oh man, their life stealer is set to have just an absolute banger of a game right now. Like, that tower is gone. The Centaur is very weak. The ability to rotate in, it's pretty low right now. So the Moonlight Shadow plays, the relocates later on. That's what they're going to have to look for. But they just have so much catching up to do first. And that's what GH is trying to set up here with these stacks in the jungle.
Definitely a game where he is happy with how it's been going on. Difference maker is probably going to have to be Sumail to try and really mess with him. Huskar, not necessarily known as being the best against the Lifestealer.
Yeah, we get the specialist array coming out here already. Wind Ranger, a little faster than usual. Tends to be an item that is currently usually just bought to head into the Hydra's Breath on the Wind Ranger, so that's why you're seeing that time being so much faster. The only hero that often gets in position 1, I'd say, is Avenge. It works a little better with that hero because of her quirks and whatnot. So Sumail going for something a little more middling here. Yeah, how it goes from compared to the Maelstrom.
A little bit of calmness before what we're anticipating to be a storm of action once these items come online. A Blade Mail done for Axe. Omar finds the arrow onto save, does go into the Shadow Realm, and that stops Renoff from getting anywhere close to finding a life break. Again, managing to escape from that one.
Very difficult game to be a Huskar behind, though, just because you are playing into this Axe. Yeah. You know, you're not this bully, so you're worried about coming into these fights in the mid game, and you're going to be around the same net worth, which means like he has the blade now. He's going to be probably into the blink by the time that you and the team are really trying to pressure forwards.
And there is, to be fair, a lot of good save potential. You know, the panel talked about it. Late game, you've got the Centaur, Aghanim Scepter. Io, obviously, very good at, being able to jump in there and keep somebody alive. But the window that you have to make a mistake is so much smaller against an Axe, and you've got that Culling Blade at the ready.
Yeah, GH, I mean, if I'm going to put my faith in anyone to save me so far in this tournament, it's GH. So him on an IO with a mech, that's definitely a massive boost of health that is available.
Towards that one right now. It's not been completed yet. You can see pretty steady stuff. You know, it's interesting also, seeing the Huskar for Devi right now, it reminds me, one of the games that stands out to me most in terms of how he played is like a couple of years ago, he was a Centaur over near the tier 1 tower mid, and he just like blind blinked up a hill, couldn't see anybody, and found like 2 to 3 heroes with it right up there on this hill.
Yeah.
It was a big jump, and it just was emblematic of how he plays these games around these blink heroes.
Yeah, so he's going to need some of that energy here for sure. Like, he definitely showcased that last night. The patience that he has, you know, that's kind of maybe the difference of who we have now. He tends to be a little more patient, right? Back then, he was very hot-headed, both on and off the keyboard. Right. Now he's chilled out. He's finding these more intentional maneuvers or waiting very, very late in the engagement with his BKB. That's what he showcased last night. We'll see which divide do they need right now? Might be a little bit of a hothead.
Well, right now is Nigma going in under the Moonlight Shadow, and we'll just go for the D ward.
Hard to make anything too aggressive from out here without Sumail really leading first, honestly. You kind of need some sort of a shackle play set up into an arrow. Sumail's going to TP down bottom with the Invis Rune, grab the Wisdom, and yeah, his friend is being chased right now. I thought maybe they were going to try and rotate onto the Lifestealer, because they would have the damage. But certainly not easy. And again, that Ob Sentry combo, the same one that spawned the earlier Moonlight Shadow attempt, now catches Sumail moving in here, and there's no creep wave, so he has no idea.
Bit of counterplay potential. They don't know exactly where he is, but
yeah, he figured it out.
Seeing all these people come down, realizes the danger. And Blink Check just has it done now on Divide. He's playing close to GH, so if there is a battle that could start popping off, there's a chance there for a relocate.
Bullied a little bit here by save.
The damage
was at the longest arrow.
Tower goes down to Divide and his troll, and they still have that blink coming in behind Sumail.
Yeah, Hero not close to his yet on the axe. About 250 gold to go, so this is a good window for Enigma Galaxy to try and find something.
Hero gonna head into the jungle, try and go farm, realize that Divide's there, and take Ancients at the very least. But
yeah, I like this. Divide using the Helm Creep to push in with the rallies, right?
Yeah.
Bullying down the tier 1 tower. Best thing that you can gain right now. Mechanism getting closer as well for GH. Would love to have that up again for that first fight into the Axe Blink Dagger. He dunks the creep.
Let's put it on a cooldown, but now you get the charge. It's all good. Worth noting also, the Shadow Fiend in this game going in for the Kaya build. So we've got a magic Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, we'll get there, Yasha Kai. I'm sure we'll get this like middling build that kind of goes both ways, you know. Into a Hurricane Pike after, perhaps. Pretty decent game for it. He has his Lifestealer to back him up with some pretty heavy damage.
I gotta say, Boom Boys are one of the best teams in the world at like picking exactly which fight they want and then just not giving it to Nigma. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They're out there, they're like, this is our time to fight, we got the Blink Dagger ready to go. They go entirely into the Ancients, and Boom Boys still manage to farm up the Ancient camp with Miero while not taking a fight.
They're very good at playing a static game.
Yes.
That has been a Boom Boy staple for quite a while.
Gonna try and create some chaos.
I like the low stakes push though, right? Like the catapult, the Helm Creep, they're lurking around in here trying to just find that first shackle. It's what they need for the arrow, you know?
They're just not giving it to him. Look at Miero. How patient is Miero in this game?
Look at this. TP's down bottom.
Yeah.
They instantly TP Centaur, Huskar, Mirana down bottom when they see the Lifestealer this close. Forward vision, they don't have any.
You want this fight. Oh, that's the blind blink. Divide having an inkling he could be in that area, but not able to catch that time.
It's a heavy rotation from Nigma. I mean, there's obviously some camps to farm here. It's not the worst thing in the world, but you've got to imagine that's a net positive interaction here for the Boom Boys. That Radiance into Armlet nearly done. Kiritich is just hitting all the timings he wanted in Lifestealer. That said, Snail's not far behind. You know, he's got his Specialist Array, he's got the IO to help out, he's finished the Hydra's Breath, so this is the benefit, right? You go Maelstrom, you don't really feel like you're going to get much out of the Mjolnir perhaps in those first engagements, but Hydra's Breath into the Axe, into the Lifestealer, it's going to have value all game. I like this idea from him.
Now keep in mind, they have that relocate, so Boom Boys deciding now is the time to fight, and it's Nigma that are backing away, not presenting a target as of yet. They are all the way back behind their tier 2 towers.
One thing they've done very well though is that they have this consistent lockdown through the Stampede. Like Stampede save isn't really going to help you. The best thing is that it might give the IO the positioning for a relocate save.
Yeah. I mean, these teams, this is an elimination match. You can feel it in the air a little bit.
Oh yeah, they're hesitating more in maneuvers. They're definitely playing safer moves as well. I'd say the drafts also are... They have a few more outs in their draft where, like, the game doesn't end necessarily just because you didn't stomp your lane as Husker. I don't think it's that kind of a game for Enigma Galaxy at all. And same thing for the Boom Boys as well. Like, there's definitely some mid-game, some late-game. There's a little bit of team fight on both sides, a little bit of pick-off. These are the kind of drafts that are ready to head into the late game. So, buckle in, folks. I mean, You guys have seen this event. You know how the games have been going. We're heading later and later every single day. Every single day that goes late, I think, well, surely the next day should go later. And I think that again today. We've had a 2-0, so if anything's going to curse us into an even longer day, or bless us, let's be honest.
That's true enough.
Kadomi.
They find him over in the river, and the shackle is there. So the first kill in a very long time goes to Sumail, 4-7. And I think, again, if you're Boom Boys, they seem to be very, very confident going into the late game, not needing to do anything. And I think it's just a matter of like not wanting to sort of give up a stupid mistake.
Yep.
Because that's the type of thing that could really catapult you into making more of them as the game goes later too. BKB from Yarrow is can be, and also they get a Yule Scepter done on Marana. That is super nice.
Such a useful item on Marana. Like, especially in a game where you don't have the best setups, like no like really cheap initiations to set up for an arrow. You can go for the Yules for yourself, but also versus the axe.
Yes.
Very good tool to have. Try and prevent some of your teammates out of a really good call, especially if you get a preemptive cast on him. It can just absolutely devastate the team fight. Many good reasons to opt for. Here's Omar. You see Omar, he's moonlight shadowing and he's walking in between. He's playing the Vanguard right now, where he's just saying, okay, if they are smoking at my Huskar, I will die, or maybe I'll even get out, as we saw in the previous series. The Maranas were, Tofu particularly helped tank a lot of smokes and still managed to escape while protecting his cores. That is the hope for Omar. He can also pick up a bit of farm. I would guess with how this game is trending that he's going to be looking for an egg.
Kalau Discord-nya nggak kepake, minta role wakil presiden. But why? There is no wakil presiden role.
And if you have that Agnet Scepter on the Marana, it's a ton of damage. It is a good way to cut that save.
There is no wakil presiden role.
I also feel like the BKBs coming out from Boom Boys is going to be another one of these windows that
pusing.
You've got the Blink Requiem coming out at the moment, no way to save.
Udah dulu deh. Oh, duhur panas. Lanjut lagi. Nanti malam maybe.
It's relocate, I guess we could say, right? I guess there is that save, but that's a tough one. That relocate save is more for like the level 25 cast delay save, you know?
Oh, nyantai dulu.
He is very fast, I'll give him that.
And he's getting a BKB immediately too. So he's understanding the danger there.
Kan ada presidennya Jutain dong. Presidennya sibuk ngurus MBG. Alright, I am done. We are done. BB plus versus Nigma. Lanjut lagi nanti malam. Jamnya jam berapa nggak tahu, tergantung situasi kondisi. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. See you later. Goodbye.